Hey, everybody.
We got it. A little smoother than last time.
Keith had to change his shirt, so we didn't want to just exit out of that. He had to go off camera a minute, so to get out of his sweatshirt, it was too hot up here.
Sitting next to Rachel, you know.
Living the dream says hello to you.
Oh my goodness, most people always just say hello to Rachel.
All right. Hi, Brad. Fired at the furnace. Oh, look, he is a moderator. Are you moderating
he's still
us?
a moderator from last time.
Can you read it?
Yeah, that's too a little hard for my old eyes.
I'll have to read to Heath what everybody's saying because he has a hard time seeing that far. Is our video clear or not?
Yeah, is it grainy to you guys or is it clear? Because it's a little grainy looking to us here. But I think it was last time too when it ended up being clear.
Good evening, Scott. Hi, Nick. Craig.
Hazy.
Brooks.
That's probably because of the lighting, right?
It always is, Heath. Well, you can read and talk. See?
Yeah, I got to get my hair cut again. Chris, it's a little mullet that I grow every year. Chris, it's once a year at work, I grow a mullet until I get in trouble by my boss. It all started with a bad haircut when I was getting pizza, and I came home, and Rachel's like, "What did you do?" And
I said, "Did you ask the lady to cut your hair like Jedediah?"
No.
Yes.
You're like, "What the hell did you do?" I said, "I was getting pizza, and I ducked in for a haircut." And she says, "Did you look at it before you left?"
Right.
I was like, whatever, it's not that bad. And the next day I get to work and everyone's like, "What did you do?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they all started calling me Jebediah. So I was like, you know what, whatever, I'll grow a mullet. No one thought I would. And so every year now I grow a mullet.
Right. No knock on the Amish, but I don't want him having their hair cut.
They got nice hair.
That's sometimes the hair he came home with. And now he always just does unattractive haircuts just for fun. I don't know. You can't control
mullets
this guy.
Did come back for a little while though.
You can't tell this guy anything. Oh, Nick says it looks a little grainy. I just wonder. Hold on.
Can you stop that dog from eating that, please?
Is that a little clearer? I don't know. So what's going on, guys? It's been a while since we did our own live. What's everyone been up to?
Brad's got the new 1222. I know he's in here. Shibe got his. Definitely need an elevator, or I need to get one. Because with these fast splitters, you can't keep up by hand unless you got 2 or 3 people, maybe 4. That's what I always say. I'm like, the difference between a good haircut and a bad haircut is a couple of weeks. And my hair grows fast, so I just have been rocking a bad one for a while now.
I guess I missed what happened to you, Craig. I saw you had a couple broken bones. Or ribs. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Did I miss what happened? Was it made public or?
It is now. No.
Sorry if you don't want to share what happened, but I'm curious how you got broken ribs.
William, I need to get trails done for our maple syrup, but it's been so muddy. It's been terrible lately. Like anything trying to get out there. I'm tearing our yard up with the tractor, which I do every year. And then I say I'll fix it. And then I just try to put more gravel down to make my wood yard bigger. But up in Croswell at the property, I haven't done much up there at all just because of the mud and time.
He was in an accident. That sucks. Sorry to hear that. Dennis likes your mule deer.
Thanks. That is my oldest boy, his senior year spring break. Always in town, a bunch of people go to a destination and 1 or 2 destinations, and everyone tries to go. And he asked me if we could do a hunting trip instead of that. And I was more than happy to oblige. Yeah. So I took him out with some buddies from work. They go out all public land with a tent every year. And we went out to Montana and we both took pretty nice mule deer. It was a lot of fun. Then my daughter chose Hawaii. So Rachel went to Hawaii with her. But I've got 2 boys left, so I'm hoping that this was a good deal for me for hunting trips.
Right. I'm hoping I get another Hawaii out of it. These boys, they're the babies, though, so they think they get to do both.
They're like, I want to go to Hawaii and have a hunting trip.
Mark asked how that kitchen reno's going. Mark, I hate to break it to you, but that kitchen reno, I mean, I joke and tell him, I mean, I would love to have my kitchen done, but it's not on Heath's.
It is.
List.
I just hate doing home improvement.
It's on a list that is
my
tucked away
my
somewhere.
do not do list.
It's not going to happen. I don't have any real hope of that.
Craig, that mule deer was taken with a Browning A-Bolt 243 super short mag. And my son used the same gun. We just brought one gun because he was hunting first. And so we just went with one. And once he got his deer, then the hunting switched to me.
Jay, we were going to do the Easton Made Allwood head-to-head today, but we woke up to Winter Wonderland. So filming on that
I'm off.
is a little delayed.
I'm off this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. My days off at work rotate. And I believe Tuesday is looking like good weather. So I want to get that shot. But I want another person here, at least one more person, because
to help film it
so that
it's
we
better.
can have a moving camera instead of just having it up on the tractor. That was a challenge when we did the Wolf Ridge versus the Easton Made head-to-head video. The first video we did, Rachel was filming, me and Doug were running the splitters, and for whatever reason, half of our video didn't have audio. And it didn't make sense because we would have one clip that would have audio and the next one wouldn't. So then I had to go back and get Doug's splitter back because he had to leave. And then I brought it back. We put the camera up on the tractor bucket to film Rachel and I doing it from above. And then we thought it was good. We did the whole thing and went inside to look at it. And the video was just bad. You couldn't see the end of the Easton Made log splitter. I was cut off like here the whole time. I was like, I can't put that out there. So then we had to do it again. So it was the third time that we ran it.
Yeah.
Hi, Andrew. Andrew's here. I loved your comment to Midwest Firewood. That was great. That made me laugh when I read it.
What was the comment?
When he was trying to mock Andrew's video about the resplitter. And
I like when Andrew's sassy because it's taking a page out of my book. I'm sassy and Heath doesn't let me be on public forums. So I like to see it. Somebody said I'm the prettiest woman in the woodyard. Thank you. That made my night.
I think so. She smells amazing too.
He doesn't know that. If you watched the Skidder Kev live, you'll know what that is about. But he can't smell. And it's not because of COVID. It's
just
I don't know. I don't know. It's one of his many disabilities, I guess, that he takes claims.
Sometimes it comes in handy.
No. Well, William Klein got a side-by-side. We were not filming from the roof of the house. When we did the lights, we were. Oh, you got that.
We're trying to catch these questions because we know we missed a ton of them last time.
Yeah, that. Oh, there's a question. Oh, wait. You haven't let up on Jeremy. I got a hug.
Did you film it or did you just go get the hug?
Does he? I would just like, does he even know what I'm talking about?
Well, he does because Kevin sent him the short that he made.
Well, I know, but does he even remember? Like,
oh, yeah. Did he remember?
I could have a very different recollection of events.
Did he remember sniffing Rachel at the Paul Bunyan
I'm like,
show?
he probably has no idea what you're even talking about. No. Okay. There's Bucky's got a question for you.
A conveyor will make a big difference in your firewood operation. Absolutely, it will. But I actually went today and looked at something. It wasn't a conveyor. It was because you guys know I have that Samurai buzzsaw, which I like, and I'm building a log staging table for it. So it's going to be like a poor man's processor once I get it set up the way that I want, where I'll have a table with the logs on it. I'll be able to roll them onto a roller conveyor, pull them into the Samurai and cut them, and then feed them out to the log table and down to whatever splitter we're running. So if you had two people, you could take logs and turn them into splits in a pretty short order. There was a guy that had a hydraulic infeed table with a hydraulically operated buzzsaw and an electric output conveyor on Marketplace. But I went and looked at it today, and it was a homemade sort of cobbled up mess. That buzzsaw is a death trap. I mean, an absolute death trap. So
if he's saying that, it has to be.
Yeah, because a lot of times I'll just come home with it and be like, I could make it work.
No,
but that thing was a death trap. just waiting to eat somebody.
I think Heath has like a near-death experience every time he leaves the house or just being at the house. He's ate up all his 9 lives. I really don't know how
There's
he
no
doesn't
such
have.
thing as 9 lives because
No.
I'm on like 40.
He really, truly does have. Like, I don't like him even taking my kids in the car with him because it's always something insane. It's always an insane event that happened with Heath. Not normal.
Scott, that's what started our whole wood cutting, was to save money. And at this point, I would agree I'm probably pretty negative.
No.
But it's investments because most of this stuff holds its value or goes up in value.
He always says that. It's an investment. Listen, Heath has ADD and he gets a dopamine rush when he purchases things.
This is her diagnosis.
This
has
is why
not been
I
professionally diagnosed.
I believe this is why he loves to buy things. It's also why he doesn't like doing home renovations. He gets the initial rush when he gets to buy all the stuff and start it, and then it just goes away when it's not fun anymore, and he doesn't want to do it. So
plus, this is how I stay chiseled, Rachel. Firewood. I'd probably be some lazy slob if I didn't do firewood. Right?
No, he's always keeping busy with something. It doesn't really matter, but yeah. Oh, someone asked if we've had any problems doing the head-to-head. The only problem is people.
Well, the technology, and then we're actually going to be, I don't know who caught this or who didn't. So Doug bought that Wolfridge splitter at the end of 2020, 2021, and it was never close to the cycle time it was supposed to have. He was just like, you know what? It is what it is. He saw a few other people on YouTube that had them that it just wasn't hitting the times, and he figured, you know what? It is what it is. So he just has run it like that for a couple of years, and with these head-to-heads, we're doing the best we can. We can only compare the equipment we can get our hands on. And so I knew he had that Wolfridge. I had that Easton made. They're comparable machines when similarly equipped. So I said, let's run it and see what happens, you know. And so he brought that thing over. Well, after that video came out and started getting a lot of attention, Chris Wolf reached out to Doug. He actually went through his purchase orders for that time frame and looked for all of the Dougs. And then he was like, well, this was a direct order. Maybe it was him. And he called Doug and talked to him. And he was like, I put the wrong pump on that machine. I couldn't get the right pumps at the time. So I just put this pump on it and I shipped it out. And so he just sent Doug a new pump, the correct pump, which Doug just got today. So we're going to do a video showing how to install that pump, hopefully correctly. And then we're going to rerun the Wolfridge Easton made head-to-head. And we actually already filmed the Wolfridge versus Allwood head-to-head, but we're not going to air that one because it was with the wrong pump. So that's where that's at. We're going to rerun the Wolfridge Easton made. We're going to rerun the Allwood Wolfridge, but the next one we film is going to be that 1222 versus the Allwood, and I think that one's going to be fun because both of those machines fly.
Right. We're going to be having to move. Heath acts like he's in a race. I didn't realize I was supposed to be racing myself, but
well, that's where with that one too, we're learning as we go. So every time I think we'll get better. But those machines were run by different people all the time. So the times that are in there are with Doug running the machine, me running the machine, Rachel running the machine. So even though we all run them a little different, it's a good average. And also, you can't run all the machines the same speed, even if they were identical cycle times. Because like that Easton made with the cradle, you can literally throw the log in and hit go. With the Wolfridge, you have to position it, hold it, and then go. The Allwood has less of a cradle, so that's in between the two. But that's all part of the design, and that's part of what we want to show people is the differences in the machine. So
so you had 3 different operators, so it makes it more fair. Hello, Jeff, Richard.
I also
Jimbo,
have 3
Ben.
box store splitters lined up that we're going to do a box store battle head-to-heads between. I have a Champion, the County Line, and I believe a Northern Tool or North Star that I have lined up. And we're going to do a head-to-head with those 3 box store splitters and see how those things stack up too. I think this is fun. It helps people decide, if they're looking for a machine, what fits their needs. Everyone's different. Everybody needs different things. So,
right. Not everybody wants to spend $15,000 for a dopamine rush like this guy. Twice.
James, I don't think you're wrong there. And Doug, actually today at work, we were talking and Doug was like, I don't have a lot of faith that it's going to be a ton better, but I mean, we're going to put the new pump on and see what happens. And also, like Darren from Woodruff Woods, he ran the brute force and he tried to do a similar thing. Now he's 9-10 hours away from me. If he was closer, we'd have just met up and run it. You can't run, you know, we don't know what his wood was, you know, all that stuff, but he just watched my video and he wanted to, and I think he did a good job. He wanted to try to do a similar splitting thing and show that brute force. You know, it's just about showing people what's available, what's out there. And I think it's fun. So, and you guys saw in that video, Rachel's practicing. We're competitive. She's like, you were racing, you were trying to go too fast. I'm like, that's the goal, like to show what the machines can do. You don't want them waiting.
Are you like fake working fast to make it look like you're doing so much more? Like, I don't have to work that fast to get the same production. Why are you acting all spastic?
James, don't think I'm not always on the hunt for another splitter. I've actually got 3 right now because I still have Old Blue. And I've been slowly fixing that thing up more and more. So I want to run Blue in a splitter challenge too.
Where's my deer? Ben wants to see. That's not my mule deer. No, I didn't go on the Montana hunt, even though I would like to go with them.
No, that's my mule deer. And that's just a little Michigan whitetail.
We've got a lot of deer on the walls in here.
Grab it.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that one's mine from last year. I have a couple, but this was my biggest last year.
Yeah, Rachel shot a real nice buck last year. Now, if you guys live in Iowa or Kansas or something like that, you'll laugh at our deer.
Nice is relative, but
in Michigan, it's tough to kill a deer that's 3 years old or older.
40 acres.
So Rachel's deer from 2 years ago, she shot this thing with the crossbow during archery season, and I shot its brother this year during firearm season. So this is Rachel's best buck.
Yeah. Can you see it? Right, you got to sit way far behind it so it looks way bigger.
Yeah. You sit like at the tail end of the deer and pop the head up on a stick so it looks bigger.
On the hunting channels when they show their deer and they're sitting at the butt of the deer with the head way over there. Like, well, yeah. I mean, it's a nice deer. Why do you gotta do all the theatrics?
So, like, this is her buck, and like I said, I shot its brother, and you can see that it's starting to have a little kicker there.
Go get yours off?
And then this is the G2 on the right side is bladed, where it was going to have a little kicker off there.
Hi, Shive. Good evening. Oh. Are you getting yours?
Yeah.
Where's yours? Oh, wait.
And then this is the buck I shot this year, which I actually won a Michigan buck pole with. But you can see how it has the same kicker coming off here. And on the other side, it's doing exactly what her deer did. And it was shot on the same property. So
Jay, you live in Kansas. Are you laughing at our big bucks? Is that what that's about?
This won a pretty prominent big buck pole here in Michigan. This deer scored 151 and 6/8. And I won probably $1,500 worth of prizes with it. Where in Kansas or Iowa, like, you wouldn't even bring something like this to a buck pole unless you were a kid, maybe.
Right. That is how people take pictures with their bass too, Brad. I've seen it, and I just laugh. I don't even understand. Like, uh-oh.
Down she goes.
What range did I shoot it at? The wild open woods?
I think distance they mean.
Oh, range. Okay.
Rachel's was a further shot with the crossbow. It was 50 yards.
No, I was more than that.
Okay, a little over 50
Let me
yards.
tell my story.
All right,
You're
she's
going to
gonna
tell the story.
She remembers it better than me. I wasn't there.
I hunt by myself. I know a lot of women hunt, but they won't hunt by themselves. If I had to hunt with Heath, I would never hunt. So I hunt by myself. And I'd gone up there because our oldest son was home from college and he wanted food. So he called and asked if I'd bring him food. So then I hunted while I was there. And it was coming down.
Out tracking a deer with our dog.
Heath had like a food plot. He makes these strips, these trails through the woods around the perimeter for the deer to go on. And that's where we set up the blind at. And I had it on like a bipod for extra stability. And that's the only reason I took that shot is because I knew, like, I just asked him, how zeroed in is this? Just to make sure. And he's like, it's spot on. So I waited till it got in 260 yards. Like, I had my spot ready. I was like, if it comes here, then that's where I'm going to take it. And it started kind of turned to head into the woods. And I didn't want to risk it leaving. So I slowly squeezed the trigger and
Made a perfect shot.
made a perfect shot.
We're going to try. I have a video this year. We don't video a lot of our hunting, and this year we hunted less than ever because we were busy doing life, sports, firewood, YouTube. And but I have a little bit of hunting footage. I've got Zach, my 13-year-old. He took his best buck this year out of the same blind that she had taken hers out of with a crossbow. I made a short on that, but we're going to incorporate that. I've got a little bit of deer tracking with our dog, our little wiener dog. I tracked down Nate, my 16-year-old. He shot a doe and they couldn't find it, so we put the dog down and she took us to that. So I'm going to try to do a little hunting season recap video and get that out here in the next couple of days.
Yeah, Jimbo, I wouldn't normally take a 60-yard shot. Like 40 is usually all we like to do with our bows, just because we track deer for way too many people who shoot
Yes, it's
way too far distance with their crossbows because somebody told them they can shoot 100 yards, and
I get calls
we
all
wouldn't
the
get
time.
calls for tracking
with
your
the
deer
tracking
if that was
dog.
an effective
With the
range.
tracking dog, we get called all the time. Like, I shot at this deer with my Raven crossbow. How far away was it? 110 yards. And the next question I ask is, where do you think you hit it? And the answer is always, I have no idea. So, like, that's a little probably beyond the max range that I would normally recommend.
Mhm.
But
I was on the bipod and it
on
was
the bipod in a blind, because crossbows are loud and deer react to the shot. But when you're in a blind, that a lot of that noise is contained. So that with how the deer's act, like everything comes into consideration with a shot. I'll honestly normally shoot further with my compound bow than I would with a crossbow when I can shoot regularly, just because they're so much quieter. But I won't
Right.
shoot that far with it.
No. Chris Earl, hi from Colorado. Hello, my cousin lives in Colorado. It's one of our favorite places to visit. It's actually where we went on our honeymoon.
Shibe, did you go? Oh no, you had drill this weekend. Are you trying to go look at that conveyor tomorrow? Is it still available or is it gone already?
Thanks, Jay. They're nice to us.
Chris, on that all-wood splitter, can you raise it up for tall people? Do you mean the working height of it?
Like the Allwood's the tallest.
The Allwood is the tallest of all the splitters we have.
You don't need to raise that at all.
We're going to, that's another thing. When we redo these head-to-heads, we're doing a lot better job at just showing the features. We actually measured like the working height. We're going to measure the thickness of the I-beams or the steel that it's made out of. Because that was one thing that a lot of the comments were like, yeah, but the Easton made weighs what 1,000 pounds more than the Wolf Ridge. Like, you got to take that into consideration. And from moving them around, yes, absolutely. But where do you think that 1,000 pounds is at? You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I'll take the heavier machine that's harder to move around than the lighter one that's similar in size, because that weight is going into something and it's into the thickness of the steel. So I wanted to show that because that's a difference. Like, that Easton made is built heavier than that Wolf Ridge, than these two models. And the Allwood is built heavier also. Like, so we're just going to show all that stuff, the thickness of it, how they're built, you know, how big the push plates are, how tall the wedges are, all of that.
We have been married for over 20 years now. I started dating when I was 16.
I was 18. It's all right. We worked together at Kmart, actually.
At Kmart. We did work together at Kmart. Then he went off to college and I had another year of school. And yeah, got married after I was young for my grade. So I got married after my junior year in college and started having babies right away.
Yeah, she tricked me. She was like, we were married for a couple months and she goes, I either want to have a kid or a dog.
Well, because your brother bred puppies, German Shorthair Pointers, and they were the cutest thing. Like, you can't show a girl puppies and think she's not going to want one.
So at that time, I was young and naive, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get her a dog.
I said, I want a puppy or a baby.
And it's a hunting dog. It was a German Shorthair Pointer. So I got her a dog, and like a month or two later, she's like, hey, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, but I got you a dog. Like, what do you mean?
And we have a puppy.
So then at that point, I was like, you know what? However many kids we're going to have, and then we'll still be young when our kids are older. And
I always wanted 4. After every kid, he's like, we're done. But then I got my 4. We would have probably had 6 if I would have had my way. I could have had more.
I got to tell her no.
Oh, goodness. 10 years. 10 years is an accomplishment. Shoot.
Jeff, you're asking me what conveyor I'm going to buy? I have no idea. I've thought about looking for one of the older farm conveyors and converting it, but seeing some of the issues that people have, like Brad, you've had a few battles with yours. I know Dude Ranch DIY has had fights with his. A guy actually that was on the show that came over and run the Wolf Ridge earlier this summer, Clyde, he ordered an all wood splitter, and he builds those conveyors. And so he's like, you got to look for this and look for that. And at this point, I'm sort of thinking like I'd probably be better off getting a legit conveyor than getting a farm one and constantly having to work on it. Because one reason I try to buy this faster, better equipment that's going to last and that works faster is because time is one of my most valuable things. So getting something that I constantly have to work on is sort of counterproductive for me. But I know there is a Balfour, the company that makes that buzzsaw that I have. They have a conveyor that's fairly reasonably priced. I've looked at that a little bit. I'm not shopping for a conveyor right now, but I'm looking for a conveyor.
He's never
If I
shopping
find a
for
deal,
anything. He just...
if I find a deal I can't pass up, I'll probably grab the thing up. But right now, I'm not actively shopping for a conveyor.
Right. Ben says that I really kicked butt on the splitter the other day. He needs that kind of help. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, we made
we were working hard. That was a hard working day. Like I was out of breath. Good thing you couldn't hear the huffing and puffing because we were working really hard. We just wanted to get that all done for him because we had to take our equipment home. And we were like in a hurry. He had to leave for something. We had to leave to go get kids for something. And
yeah, we got there a little later. We're always a little later than we expect. Yeah. But Alex, I agree that would be awesome if Bobby hooked me up with a conveyor, but it's not something I'm expecting. But I wouldn't say no if he called and was like, hey, you want a conveyor?
We'll never turn it down. Oh, Clyde said earlier in the very beginning, he's got to light a fire under Bobby to get his splitter he's waiting on.
Oh, Clyde.
I don't know if Clyde's still on here. He was. He commented.
That has to be the hardest part. And Andrew, if you're still here, do you just have someone dedicated to answering phones when people call and ask about the status of their splitter? Because waiting is the hardest part. And
right.
In my opinion, some people say, oh, Easton Made's lead time is too long. Wolf Ridge's is shorter. But to me, I mean, that just sort of shows supply and demand. And if anyone's looking for a splitter, waiting, it sucks. But I think it's better. I think it's better off to wait for a good product than to just get something you can get quicker.
He says he has 3 people do it all day.
Oh, I can't imagine.
They probably say the exact same thing to every single person too.
One of my sayings that I say all the time, and it came from I grew up poor and I've worked myself to where I am. I'm not wealthy by any means, even though I spend a lot of money. But one of my favorite sayings is do it right or do it twice. And that just goes with, in the past, I would buy like a cheap scope for a gun and then it would fail and it would mess up a hunt. And then I'd have to buy a better one. I'd buy, a cheap chainsaw and then it would die out and then buy a better one. And when you start getting this better equipment, you go, why didn't I do this sooner? So do it right or do it twice. And I think with splitters, it's the same way.
Welcome, Matt from Long Island. How you doing? Is that how you say?
Oh, thank you, Ben. Cheers to Ben.
Cheers to Ben. Oh.
Andrew, I got an idea. I don't know if it's even possible because I'm not a computer person, but it might help you be able to have those 3 people have a little bit of a break. Is it possible to maybe build a spreadsheet that people can access, like a Google Doc that they can't edit, but they can access? And their splitter just has a number assigned to it.
So they see where they're at.
So then you can say your splitter is number 372. So you can open that document and see 372 and it will show where their splitter is at in the process of building it. It might stop people from calling every 3 days when you told them your splitter will be ready in a year, and a month later they call and ask where their splitter's at. If they can look and see, all right, mine's here, or mine's in paint, or mine's,
Kind of like a shipping tracking.
Yeah,
where
like
you
a
can
tracking.
track
So these
where you're
people,
at.
instead of calling every day, they could just log in and be like, oh, it's still 10 months out like he told me it was.
Right. No, Alex said, is it better to ask for forgiveness or permission? I say ask for forgiveness. That's how I operate my life. Keith will fake ask for permission.
No, I always ask for permission.
And then he
She
just does whatever
know.
he wants anyways. So he'll be like, what do you think? I want to do this. And then I'll be like, well, I don't. And he just bulldozes and tells me why he has to. And then he just does it.
No,
Or
so like,
He
for
just,
instance,
or he's like, I think I'm going to go look. I'm going to go look at tractors. And then he comes home and he's bought the thing. And I'm like, what happened to looking? It's like, well, why else would I go there? I'm like, well, that's not the same.
I told her, like with the Coyote tractor that I have, I had a 35 horse tractor and there was a used 74 horse tractor at the dealer that I bought mine from. And I told her, I'm like, hey, they got the 74 horse tractor. It's got a loader. Like, it's what I'm looking for. And I said, I'm going to go look at it tomorrow. And she's like, all right, cool. So then I come home and she's like, you know, hey, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, nothing. I said, I got to go pick up my tractor tomorrow. And she's like, what do you mean? You bought it? I'm like, why would I go look at it if I wasn't going to buy it? I don't just go look at a tractor to see if it's cool. Like, it checked out. So I told him I'll take it.
Apparently Brad does the same thing as you.
Exactly. I mean, in
Just
my
like-
eyes, I got permission because
Just
she
like
was
that all-wood log splitter. I had no idea.
I told her I'm gonna drive 2 hours to look at a log splitter.
I had
Why
no
would I do
idea.
that if I wasn't gonna buy it if it checked
I
out?
probably didn't even know that's what he was doing.
Because she doesn't listen to me.
He-
That's not my fault.
Every day he's going and looking at something off Facebook Marketplace. This means literally nothing to me. I don't know anything. And then
I will say though, the thing I went and looked at today though, I didn't buy it, and that's odd for me. Usually, if I go look
No.
at something, I come home with it or put a deposit on it.
I only knew that log splitter. He was getting a new log splitter when you had me filming a video and you made a comment about your new log splitter. I
That's
thought he was
because
just
I
being
told
funny.
you before and you didn't listen.
I thought he was just being sarcastic. And then I'm like, I think he's serious.
I missed the Hogs Logs. And you,
Yeah, I had no idea how much they cost. You're right, James. No idea.
I'll tell you what, it's cost a lot more now than it did when I bought it.
Right.
Both the tractor and the log
Ron
splitter.
goes, don't encourage him, Jimbo.
And they're investments. They're not.
Yeah.
They're investments.
No. See, and if I were like, I'm gonna go buy a new car, there's not a chance in hell I could do that. He has to do all that. So maybe I should just give you a taste of your own medicine once, just to see what it feels like.
We can't afford both of us being like me. Is that oh no, who's looking for a chainsaw? I see buy steel. You only have to buy it once. Is that because I said do it right or do it twice? I still haven't run a 500i, and I have yet to run a Pro Series Husky saw, but I know they're different. But my Husqvarna lawnmower has me soured on Husqvarna right now.
I like how you think, James. I
that
just bought a new kitchen. Oops.
That thing's been a nightmare, that mower. And the dealer that I am dealing with has been a nightmare.
Mm. Oh, yeah. He hopes he doesn't sell his guns for it until they're paid for him. I seriously threaten. I'm like, when you're at work one day, I'm just going to have an estate sale and just come in. Like, you guys have literally no idea how much stuff this man has. But if anybody needs to borrow something, he's like, oh, I think I have one of those. And he does. One or two. A lot of times there's two of them.
But I'm telling you, the minute you get rid of something that you've had for 5 years, you're going to need it the next day. I know when Joe from Joe's Premium Firewood, when he flipped his Easton Made Ultra over, which Andrew said he sent it to him because he knew he'd put it through his paces, and that man's done that. But Ted, saw surgeon, was working on it, and he needed the muffler, the elbow for the muffler. And I told him, I'm like, hey, email me. I think I have one. And he's like, what, are you a Honda dealer? I'm like, no, I just got stuff.
He just has.
And I did have one, but he ended up getting one. So.
Yes. No, and it's just random things. Random, like a drywall sander. We just have one for all of our.
Alex, I don't have 39 saws yet, but I'm slowly accumulating. Another one with buying guns, a guy I work with, he'll buy a gun and he'll put it in his gun safe. And then a few days later, he'll take it out and his wife will be like, what's that? Where'd you get that? And he just says, oh, I've had this, which, I mean, he has for 2 days.
Women have been using that trick forever.
So that's your trick. Oh, you do say that a lot.
I do say that because you're very unobservant, but that's I just don't care anymore. I'm like, nope, bought it new. But they'll say that. Where'd you get that shirt? Oh, I've had this.
Alex, I like, you know what? I have an Echo, which is probably the saw Rachel's going to run a lot of it. It's a 50cc, and I do like that saw. I like a lot of the older stuff because one, you can get deals on it. Like I bought that 044 for $300, and I got 2 brand new steel bars with it, an older steel bar, probably 5-6 chains, all the stuff, that sweet vintage hat, for $300. I mean, I'd love to go out and buy a new 500i or a 400C. Those saws both look great, or a new Husky, but the older stuff, I mean, that stuff runs and cuts, and you can get it for a lot better deal.
Brad has 13 handguns he's never shot. Do you have guns you've never shot in there?
Oh, yeah. They're still in the box. They're investments. You have a gun in there you've never shot. She has a beautiful semi-auto Browning 22 that has probably gone up tenfold in price since we bought it for 20 years ago.
It was my gift for graduating college from his parents. He convinced them that's what I wanted.
I know, isn't it awesome? Rachel's dying to have this 22. Right. I'll put it in my gun safe.
We've never shot it. 13 saws and 6 to 7 guns he hasn't shot, Craig. How many saws can you fit in kitchen cabinets? I don't know. I have 2 sets of kitchen cabinets, Jimbo. Just one's not installed.
1.5. The set that's currently installed is pretty rough. We're missing a few doors.
We're missing a few doors. It's open concept shelving.
I know. That's what's in. So I just, as the kids knock a door off, I'm just getting more modern.
Right. See, Brad, he always says it's always an investment, which is fine. Like we talk a lot of smack, but like I really don't care but I want the same consideration given to me. So don't balk at when I go get my hair done and be like, what? I
don't say and anything negative when she goes and gets her hair done
for doing anything like that. Like don't I'll give you the same consideration. Like just give it back to me. That's all I ask. But if for years he's like, well, that's not an investment. You can't resell that. You can't, or buying clothes or anything. He's like, you can't resell it for what you bought it. It's just a waste.
Brad, we do have a ton in common. From both of our wives are realtors. We both worked, or you retired, but we both work law enforcement. We both do firewood YouTube channels. Our kids are in travel ball, softball, baseball. Like when I started like getting to know you through your channel, I'm like, my gosh, like we are very similar. We both love bourbon. I just try not to drink it. Yeah. Eagle Rare is my favorite.
Bourbon makes his pants come off.
I was actually in duty. That's a long story.
I think we told it before.
We probably did. But I was in duty free today, Brad, and I'm going to have to send you a picture of what they have for when we get closer to a show that we're both going to be at, in case you want me to grab you some stuff. I did buy a bottle of Buffalo Trace today for our work. We have a big buck party, and we do door prizes and all that stuff, which I won the big buck party this year, and it's not easy to win. But I bought a bottle of Buffalo Trace. They had some Elijah Craig small batch, some Four Roses single barrel, like a bunch of different stuff. But I just keep looking for Eagle Rare, because if they have Eagle Rare there, I'm going to have to grab one and throw it up in the cupboards for a special occasion.
Outdoors with Eric. What's up?
Brad, are you going to, what's the other one? Boonville? Because we did get a room for one night that I might be able to squeeze in the first night there, Friday night, right?
Yeah.
So we're trying to get to Boonville. Saturday, no? Yeah, we're trying to get to Boonville for one night, depending on kids' sports, if that lines up. And I'm going to just make my work schedule work. I'm supposed to be at work right now, but I switched to day shift today so we could do this live.
He loves you guys. Oh, $250? I do not pay that much. So I don't know what to tell you. It is expensive some places, but I go to, well, it's a friend,
but it's at a hair salon.
It's at a salon, and I get charged full price, but it's not, no.
I will say though, Rachel does Rachel does a great job at saving money on stuff she does so that I can spend it on investments.
Right.
Like her nails, she does her own nails and people compliment her everywhere she goes. And as opposed to going to the nail salon like she used to do years ago, the ones she uses now, I don't know what they are. My daughter does them too. And like, she's literally, we went to a restaurant and the lady is like, oh my gosh, your nail, like just like molesting her. Like
she really did. It was
sort of
awkward.
Creepy. I'm like, I get that a lot from the women, but she wasn't used to it.
So not only do I work hard in the wood yard, I always have pretty nails while I'm doing it. That's not a testament to these.
John does his own nails. See, you got to save John. See, I like you, John, because I learn a lot from you because I know you have a ton of knowledge, and you remind me a lot of my dad. Because like the first video I ever watched you were like pulling a tree out with I think a bulldozer. It was a tracked bulldozer, and you were just dragging out this tree. And I think you might have almost flipped it or something. And I was like, this is my dad. Like, I love it. Like just ripping that tree out. And, and when you were dropping those trees the other day, because no matter what you do on YouTube, you're going to have people tell you did it wrong. So whatever. But I love learning from you. And to know that you do your own nails too is awesome.
I feel really connected to you now, John. Thank you for sharing. Outdoors with this guy. We hitting home with everybody. I think everybody is the same, truly. If you have a man and woman together, I'm pretty sure you're going to have the same things.
Andrew, it sounds like you got the technology skills that I do.
Oh.
Rachel gets so frustrated with me when it comes to technology because it's not my thing. The fact that I can make and edit a YouTube video is amazing because like today, setting up for this, she's like, go see how the camera looks while she's getting ready. And I'm like, I don't know how to do this camera. She's like, use your phone. I said, how's that going to show me what the laptop shows? And she's like, you don't know how to open a webcam on a laptop? I'm like, no, I have the live ready to go and I don't want to mess it up. So the fact that, and I've done that before on lives, like I'm way behind and don't realize that somehow I got way behind in the live. And so I'm typing comments about stuff that happened 15 minutes ago and I never get responses. And it's probably because no one knows what I'm talking about.
Good day for watching football. I do most of them with a hammer, though. His nails.
Oh, yeah. Richard, I used to be a pro sports, not a freak, but I used to know a ton about baseball and football. I played the fantasy sports, all of that. With 4 kids that are heavily involved in sports, like in baseball, for instance, one year, our 4 kids were on 9 teams. So that'll tend to burn you out. I know almost nothing about pro sports anymore. I like watching the playoffs. I like watching, like if I'm home and Michigan State are playing or Michigan, Ohio State.
Well, yeah.
I like
the
watching
Super Bowl and we literally didn't know who's going to even be in
I like watching playoffs and all the sports, but I used to watch every game I could.
Sunday,
we had season tickets for the Tigers, stuff like that. But I'm just burned out on sports now.
Well, even when we go on, like last year into Branson, Missouri. So the team for baseball and the team wanted it. We stopped in at St. Louis to watch a Cardinals game. The boys don't even want to watch that anymore. They're so burned out. But we're going to Myrtle Beach in June for a baseball tournament. And the parents were like trying to figure out if we could do like whatever the minor league team is, go watch a game. And I have no desire to do that because I'm going to log in like 15 games that week. I don't really care to go watch people I don't love playing.
Yeah, Brad, that is it's insane what youth sports have become. And if you want your kids to have a chance to do anything
in high school,
even in high school, like around here, like our hometown where we're at, not where we grew up, but where we live now, it's a small town and they've produced way more professional athletes than they should have. Right. And most of them are in baseball. Like Jacob Cronenworth is from the town we're from, almost won the baseball rookie of the year award. Jason Carroll, he's in the Tigers bullpen catcher, I believe. Tyler Mott, professional hockey. All those guys played on the same high school baseball team. And so now everyone in this town thinks their kid's going to be a pro baseball player. But like where youth sports have gone to, just for your kid to have a chance, like they have to do these travel ball and all of this. And my oldest boy plays ball in college. It's a smaller college. He does really well. and I love watching him, but I don't have any dreams that he's going to be a pro ball player, and he's very good. Like, he was probably their number 2 pitcher as a sophomore this year. But the amount of parents who think their kids are going to be pro athletes blows my mind.
When they're 10 years old.
Yeah, when they're 10.
I don't know. So where in Michigan are you? We're in, not the UP. Heath's family grew up there.
My dad is, I love the UP, and if it were up to me, we would be in the UP because my job, I could have taken a position up there. But for my kids in schooling, the UP, not banging on the UP, but the schools are probably a little bit lower up there than where we're at.
The UP is the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, in case you don't know. Those of you not from Michigan, we just call it the UP. And it is very rural, backwoods.
My dad graduated high school, and he went to class one day, and his teacher asked him who he was, and he still graduated. And he goes, I'm in this class. And he said, no, you're not.
There's just a different way. Like my sisters lived up there for over 20 years. She was a teacher up there. We know fondly, we love it. We love, like, our kids' favorite vacations have been going up there and like getting a cabin on a lake. But like, it's just a different breed of people, I guess you could say. Not, we're not better than that's our blood, right? But we're from the west side of Michigan, like off the near Grand Rapids. That's where we grew up, and now we're over on the east side, close-ish to Port Huron, like an hour north of Detroit. He's probably going pee, to be honest, but he says he's getting a refill. So that new old saw. Did you guys watch the short of Heath sharpening that saw chain? That was really nasty, and it took him a long time. It was supposed to be funny. North Carolina. So how is North Carolina? I always say I don't want to live in Michigan after my kids are done with school, but I don't know what state I want to move to. So whoever lives in North Carolina, tell me, is it worth living in? Is it good? What's the weather? Yeah. Did you like that, Steve? It was funny. Finally got to use the Hardworking Man song. You can't use it on any of our videos because it's copyrighted, but for shorts, you can use any music whatsoever. So those of you who don't know that, now you do.
I just remembered a question that I didn't answer.
North Carolina is perfect.
I think, Clyde, you asked what the lead time was on my Allwood. When did I order that, Rachel? When did I tell you I was going to order the Allwood? I think I ordered it in February, and I got it right before the Paul Bunyan show, so September. So
graduating class of 48 up in the UP. I'm guessing you're in the UP. What part of the UP are you in? If you are UP, Jennings. So Scott, an old guy there in North Carolina.
He had a graduating class up. I thought he said in 48. I was like, good night.
No, West Virginia. My grandpa is from West Virginia. There was family property there for a long time that my uncle owned, but he passed away like 2 years ago, and I don't know who owns it anymore. He didn't really have kids that would want it. Montana. I want to go out to Montana.
Montana was a fun hunt. Hunting mule deer is totally different than whitetail, and I still prefer whitetail. That's my passion. But hunting mule deer out in Montana was fun. We had a blast out there, and I'd love to do it every year, but maybe when my kids get a little older and the sports schedule gets lower, maybe me and Rachel will take Hardworking Man on the road and do a tent hunting trip. She's excited. I can tell. She's pretending like she's not. She loves camping.
Oh yeah, Todd, you're the Crown guy, right? Todd Brown.
Yeah, Todd, you have
we drive past. We have. Did you tell him?
Yeah.
Secret or hunting property?
Todd, you own the Crown Rust Proofing, right?
In Croswell.
I had my truck rust proof. It's a small world, so like Todd has a rust proofing company in Croswell, and that's up by where my property is. And so he had commented on one of the videos, and I commented back and forth, and I find out that I have actually been to his business before, and I just let him know. I'm like, they did an amazing job, and he keeps his shop, like, at least from the outside, that place is clean, way cleaner than I keep my yard. But you
No.
notice stuff like that when
Well, we're in Croswell,
when you
that's-
go by. So
That's where we drive past there, that sugar factory. So you live in Croswell. He keeps trying to talk me into moving up to Croswell. But as long as that sugar factory is in business, I am not moving to Croswell. It smells too bad.
I want to move there because that's where my property is.
Right. That's a funny Alpena. So I don't know. We don't travel up into that area of Michigan ever.
No, that's like Northeast Michigan.
The only thing I know that's up in there's like some dinosaur park
I've been to
amusement.
Alpena.
I don't know what it is. You'll know if you're from the area, a dinosaur thing. And my dad's always telling me we need to take the kids there. There's like dinosaur statues out in the woods, and he thinks it's the best thing to ever exist. Every time they go up to Mackinac Island, they go through the dinosaur park.
I've been to Alpena for the military. When I was in the Air Force, we did our 2-week training camp up in Alpena. And that's about it. I flew in and I flew out.
Yeah, we don't ever get to that. We just either go straight up to the UP or to the west side, or just travel all over for sports. We've seen more of the state than
So,
ever
Bill,
thought I would.
speed goat. I assume you're talking about why can't it? Pronghorn. I told Rachel the other day that they call deer ditch goats and other out west, and she's like, "Why would they call a deer a ditch goat?" She's like, "No, they don't." I'm like, yeah, they do. They call them
like
ditch
whitetail
goats.
deer or mule deer. What
I don't know what kind of deer, just deer.
deer? The deer have been out everywhere all of a sudden. Like when we were trying to kill them all for doe season, there
You
weren't
sound
any.
so. When we were trying to kill them all,
We're
they didn't want
murdering
to come
some
around.
deer. They weren't coming out. They were all they were in hiding. We just saw all of the spike deer.
Well, when we
bucks
switched,
ever.
so I do a lot of habitat management, and we let the young bucks go, trying to get older bucks, trying to advance age class. And so I try different things every year to see what works and what doesn't. Well, this year, because in the past we've shot does early, and then sometimes the bucks disappear for a while. And so this year I'm like, we're not shooting any does until late season.
And then we saw
And then
no does during late
the
season.
the field around my property and across the street, they plowed them both to dirt, and the deer just vacated because that's, when they just pick a bean field or a cornfield, there's still plenty of food there, but they plowed them all under. So it just and my food plots did terrible this year because I planted all late season plots, and then it decided to not rain for like 3 months. So it was we normally eat probably 6 to 10 deer a year, and this year we got 2. So we're gonna be buying
And
beef.
they're both bucks, which I don't enjoy eating.
No,
like
Rachel
as
can tell the
burger.
difference between a buck and a doe. Like, I'll lie to her, I'll make food with a
Mhm.
buck, and she takes one bite. She's like, "Nope, this is a buck."
It
So,
tastes
I
really
don't know.
different. So if people say they don't like venison, it's because you're eating bucks. Eat some does and you'll love them. What'd you do in the Air Force? Richard wants to know.
Richard, I was actually a C-130 crew chief and a KC-135 crew chief. So I did the same thing as you. I actually went in with the intentions of being a pilot. I've got my commercial pilot's license, all that stuff. It's a long story, but on our honeymoon, her cousin is a Air Force pilot, C-130s. He's now an instructor pilot at United. We went and flew a flight simulator, and he was like, "Wow, you did that amazing. Have you ever thought about being a pilot?" One thing led to another. I went back to college, got another degree to be a pilot. And during that, I applied for my first scholarship ever. And the company that gave me the scholarship is an amazing company. They take care of their employees. They fly Michael Jordan's jet. They fly for Dow Chemical, Intel, all these companies. And they did a golf outing, and they said, when you get close to graduating, call us. We have a job waiting for you where you'll be in management, which my first degree was in, and in flying. So I'm like, that's awesome. Well, so I called them. They're like, can you meet this weekend? It was the same weekend as the hiring board for the pilots for the Air Force, which is why I became a crew chief, because you work with the pilots, and in the Guard, the pilots hire the pilots. So it was the same weekend, and I'm like, full-time career or part-time Air Force? So I went to meet them, and that was back in 2009, and it was for them to tell me that they didn't have a job for me
Right, it's when the
anymore because
airlines
the
all
economy
crashed,
tanked.
the economy tanked. It was,
And so I didn't get that job, and then I had aged out of being able to be a pilot in the Guard. But it worked out because I have a decent job now, and I get to retire in a fair before too long, and then I can just do YouTube all the time and buy more stuff.
right. Scott wants to know, what do you plant for deer?
Usually I do half of my plots in brassicas, and half in like grains like oats, rye, red clovers, stuff like that. This year I did no brassicas just as an experiment, and it failed miserably because of the lack of rain. So yeah, a lot of people had a rough season this year for deer.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I can't say I had a rough season because I got the biggest deer in my life in the first year I've ever shot over 150 inches, but numbers wise, it was rough this year. And last year on our property was the best year ever for more mature bucks. And so it was, but the area I'm in, there's a lot of people that are on the same page as far as passing deer, but there's also a lot of people that do a lot of work and are good hunters. So we had 6 or 7 bucks in the area that we knew of that were 3.5 years old or older, which in Michigan is tough to do. One of them was Rachel's, and every single one of them deer except one was dead before gun season. One got hit by a car and all the rest were killed, one by Rachel and the rest by neighbors. So we got them to 3 and then we mowed them down.
Do we mix pork with our venison?
I'm actually going to do some videos processing deer. So with the burger, when we grind the burger that we grind, we do a bunch of it just pure venison, and that's for your tacos, your lasagna, anything that you're going to put it in. But for making hamburgers, I actually grind bacon in with the venison because then it's like a bacon burger and it helps it hold together so it doesn't fall apart and it's not quite as dry. But for summer sausage and snack sticks and stuff, I use pork belly. And we make these cherry pepper jack snack sticks and summer sausage that are absolutely amazing.
Yeah, the cherry cheddar summer sausage is to die for.
Yeah, I do cherry cheddar and cherry pepper jack. And that all started because I went to a place to get some snack sticks made and they had a sample tray out and they had one and I tried it and I was like, oh my gosh, that one is delicious. And they're like, what do you want? I'm like, that one. And they're like, well, we won't make that one for you. You have to buy that from us. I'm like, and it was the cherry and pepper jack. And so that sort of made me mad. So I went and bought all the stuff and just started making my own.
Right.
So now I've never been back to that place.
No.
Brad, I'll bring some for sure. And I'll bring you some bourbon. I'll shoot you a picture of what's available before I head out there.
Right. We'll be.
I know not to bring maple syrup now, though, if people fly because they can't take it.
Oh, yeah. Who'd you give that to that had to fly?
To Dan. And I gave some to Shibe. I gave some to Joe from Joe's Premium Firewood, too.
It's really good maple syrup. I just had some this morning. So I'm not sad that we did our own maple syrup this year. Our kids don't like it, though. They prefer like it Aunt Jemima. Well, Nathan.
Okay. Nate likes it.
When I say our kids.
She just got a death stare from Nate.
I say our kids, and it's probably just one of them, and they don't like being grouped together. So Zachary does not like the real maple syrup. He prefers Aunt Jemima's sticky grossness.
Len, do I have a smoker? I've got like 4 smokers. So
yes.
I have a propane smoker
See,
that's probably
many
20 years old. That's on its last leg. That's getting replaced. I've got a charbroil kettle grill. That's sort of like the green egg, but the cheaper version. And I love that. If I'm doing like a 5-pound batch of jerky or something, that's what I do it on. If I'm smoking a brisket or something, that's what I use. I use hardwood charcoal. I put my own wood in there for smoker, like either chunks or chips that I make out in the wood yard. And then I'm in the process, one of my projects, of building a huge stainless steel smoker for doing large.
The heating
yeah.
thing? Yeah, we used it at our daughter's open house.
Yeah, I bought a holding cabinet from a restaurant that I plan on building a smoker out of, a hardwood smoker. But it came in handy because my daughter's open house last year, we did pizza. And so I'm like, well, hey, lucky for you, I have a holding cabinet. So we just put all the pizzas in there and it kept them all
That was
warm.
one of those things people are like, you have a pizza warming cabinet? And I'm like, yeah, we do.
Yeah, who does
actually just I don't know why. I don't know why we have it. Probably the best thing that you've ever bought though is the Blackstone. Oh,
the Blackstone, the flat top grill.
Yeah, that's
if you have a big family, it's amazing.
Even if you don't have a big family, it's amazing.
Because I can go out there and cook and there's no, like, you clean the griddle top just, because it's seasoned, so you don't like wash it. You just scrape it off, oil it, and you're done. There's no pans. In the summer, you're not cooking in the house, getting all that heat in there.
No, it's really nice.
Our new kitchen, I'm actually contemplating putting an indoor outdoor smoking, cooking, grilling area. And because we have a small greenhouse built into our house in the front and we don't use it, and it's getting sort of dilapidated and run down, and I want to run the kitchen out. It was going to be where the pantry went to, but I was like, you know what, why don't I turn that into a indoor outdoor grilling station for the winters? So that we're still in the planning stage.
We have one for the campground too, Brad.
Oh yeah, it's they're awesome. We've got the small one, and then
awesome.
we've got the big 48-inch or the 4-burner,
and an outdoor frying thing, so it doesn't come in the house.
Alex, shoot us some of your maple syrup, and I'll send you some. The best thing about my maple syrup is I collect the sap, and my buddy makes it.
Right.
I'm about to do a video because he got a brand new boiler this year, and I don't know. He's telling me that it's awesome and that not many people know about it and people want to know about it. So he did his whole breakdown video. And so I'm going to put that. And I bought a food grade IBC tote so I can collect the sap in that on a trailer and then just bring that to his house. Because I bring him the sap and then I show up later and I pick up maple syrup. So.
Well, and it was funny. We didn't realize is it like the type of tree gives you different, darker or lighter?
Well, the time of season.
Or the time of season.
So like earlier in the season, you get your lighter. He knows more about this. I think it's the lighter.
It's in one of our early videos.
Yeah. So the maple flavor
syrup
changes
moonshine?
throughout the year.
Good for what's up. Someone's making maple syrup moonshine. I will drink that if you make it and bring it somewhere. I don't know. Anyways, sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, so the maple syrup, the flavoring changes throughout the year. The color and the flavoring. As the year goes on, it gets darker. Okay. And I don't remember if it's more mapley and less sweet in the beginning, but either way, it changes throughout the season. Like your grades of syrup, I guess. But
I don't know. The stuff we have now, we just have it in a mason jar in the fridge, and it's really dark.
That's later season.
The kids thought it was like a bottle of soy sauce. And I'm like, no, that's our maple syrup.
Then for smoker wood on hand, right now I have a bunch of hickory, I've got a bunch of oak, and I've got a bunch of cherry. Apple, I need to get a bunch of apple. My brother has property with a ton of apple trees on it, so I need to get a bunch of that. I don't have a lot of apple, but I scored a ton of hickory last year, and the guy that I got that from actually called me today, and he's going to have some more hickory for me. So that I'm excited about. You know, it's bad when you get excited about firewood. Like when I'm hunting, I'll sit there and I'm like, there's a dead ash tree. Like, I got to go get that thing, like, there's something wrong with you when you start doing that. But
Jennings says, Rachel, you're letting them have that and you don't have a kitchen yet.
Let me have what?
Your indoor outdoor thing.
That's part of the kitchen. That would, if I have that, that means the kitchen's going. So that's part of the kitchen remodel. We're in the planning stage because we change what we're going to do all the time. And no matter what, it's expensive. And my plan initially, you guys will all understand
Nice save. Yeah, exactly.
Because they're investments. So my plan initially was when I found that Easton made splitter, because that was on my short list. The Axis was on my short list. I didn't know Allwood existed. And then when I found the Allwood and it was 2 hours away and I'm impulsive and I went there and I saw it and I ordered one. Because Rachel gave me permission because she said I could go look at it.
Because he's impulsive. It's part of the ADD.
So then when I found that 1222 that I got, that was on Facebook Marketplace used. And I'm like, and I did 100%. I got your permission before I bought that.
For that one. Yes.
I was like clamoring to tell them I'd take it because I knew it was a sweet deal and I knew it would be great.
Yeah, because we had already been filming videos and he knows I call him out. So he's like, crap, I actually have to get a permission on this.
So I got her permission and she's like, yep, do it. So I got that thing. And my initial goal was to use the Easton made 1222 and the Allwood and figure out which one I liked best or that both of us liked best because they're different. They're both different. And I was like, and then we're going to sell one after we make some videos with it. We're going to sell it. And I ain't gonna lie, I want to keep them both right now. So I'm trying to figure out how I can make that difference up to keep them both. And I can put one at my property, one at home. It will just be awesome and keep making videos with both of them because I really do like them both. The box wedge on that Easton made, we're going to do another video with that. I've got some huge oak left. If you work with big wood, and Brad, you know this, and Shibe, like those box wedges are impressive. They do make some waste, but you know what? I use a lot of that anyway, and what I don't use, there's plenty of wood out
Get
there.
the
So
permission in writing. He doesn't care. You know what he does in writing, Jimbo? You guys are
Checks,
gonna
I write
laugh at
checks.
this. No. For presents for Christmas. He didn't do it this year because the family has thoroughly shamed him. He doesn't go buy gifts.
I do go buy gifts.
He writes an IOU. So you open up a box and it has a piece of paper that says a pair of slippers from Cabela's.
I don't know what size she needs.
Yeah.
I don't want
Or,
to get her the wrong ones and then she
like,
never wears
He
them.
owes our oldest a salmon fishing trip. I don't even remember what that was for, but he just IOUs everything. And then you're like, go to make good on it. And he's like, we don't have money for that right now. Hi, Skitter Kev. Thanks
Kevin's
for joining
here.
us.
If you guys didn't see the live with Kevin and Andrew, check out Skitter Kev's page because we had a lot of fun on that. And Kevin, how many times did we make you spit your drink out? I was going to go back and watch and count, but I'm pretty sure we got you to spit your beer out a time or two. That was where, when we were referring earlier today about the hugs, if you want to know what the hugs are all about, go watch Skitter Kev's.
No. A lot of politician talking there, Heath. I know. You think I would know better. You think he would know
Greg,
better.
I don't do politician talk because I learned that from my dad because he told my mom before they got married, like all the stuff he was going to do. And then after they got married, he asked my mom, or my mom was like, hey, you said you were going to do this and do this and do this. And he said, those were just political promise or campaign promises, he called them. And now he's divorced. So I try not to do that.
He learned a little something.
Like no campaign promises. So when I say I'm going to do something, I have full intentions to do it. Just I don't know when the time is there to do it. So
yes, like our kids are still looking for a fort to be built from 15 years ago.
Bill, you're going to love that machine. The 1222 with the tall. I have just the regular 4-way, but the tall 4-way and the box wedge. I mean, I really don't know what else you would need.
You can put that short live, Skitter Kev. I don't care. I'm not ashamed. It was nice.
Yeah, Rachel's hard to
I'm very hard to
offend.
I mean, there's two things. I'm not going to tell you what you can do to offend me, but there's two things. And putting that is not one. Oh, have you seen videos of eucalyptus? Where is eucalyptus trees?
I have not seen any eucalyptus splitting.
Where do they grow?
Say, I don't know. In that video, when we made that huge pile of firewood at my buddy's house, when Rachel was running the splitter, my buddy was running his mini excavator with the thumb, and I was running the chainsaw. And he split a Y piece of wood, and that thing exploded and went flying out the side. Like I've had wood pop before and shoot off a little bit, but that thing shot out like a cannonball. And Rachel and his dog Bentley were both just standing where that thing went. So that was we heard it. You could hear it creaking and building pressure.
I moved when I moved
But was if you were standing next to that, that would have been the end of the day. Video over.
I mean, I heard it. I'm experienced enough splitting wood to know. Like I back up. His friend, like Jason, backed up when he heard it because it was like, "Where is this going?" And I just happened to come around and bam, right where I was. It probably would have hit me like right in the neck. It would have taken me down.
California. Who was it? Somebody commented. I haven't got to it yet because I was working today on that short I did with that Granberg sharpener. They're like, that's made in California. I didn't know that they were allowed to make anything to do with outdoor products anymore. But it's battery powered, so that could be why it's still allowed.
Yeah, the all wood is no joke. The first time that Doug, our friend Doug, who has the Wolfridge, I don't think I caught it on camera, but the first time he put a round through and pulled it, and it just bam, shot to split it. His eyes whoa, he didn't think that it would be that big of a difference from his Wolfridge, but it was.
Who was it? James Baton, if you're still here, you have the 37D, right? I've and Andrew, you would know. I think you said it before. That Musclewood is more in lines with the diesel Easton mades, which the Musclewood comes with a diesel now. And I think the cycle times are very similar. Those two machines would be an awesome comparison.
Yeah, James says he does. Yeah, we realize that the Musclewood is not the exact same
it's
Machine
almost
is the
twice the price
1222.
now. But the 1222, it's gonna be a head-to-head battle.
It'll be a good.
And Andrew said it before, that 1222 that we have has the auto cycle and the muscle wood that we have doesn't.
Mhm.
So with one person working, that one's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be fun. And Rachel's gonna have to race to keep up with me no matter which
will.
machine I'm running.
I didn't realize that I had to.
You
I mean,
practice.
I always bring my A game.
You practice.
I practice. No, I was so dumb. I was not practicing.
It's video evidence. You were
I
practicing.
just started that video just to see if you could see what I was doing.
Yeah, David, that wouldn't feel good. And I don't remember what, on one of the Facebook groups there was somebody that had a piece of wood come apart when they were splitting in there.
Oh my gosh.
I believe they're paralyzed now. It was like 2 years into rehab and they still couldn't walk. So, I mean, there's obviously inherent danger with cutting down trees, with splitting firewood, with all of that. But I mean,
a lot of people
for the
don't
millions
know
and
what it
millions
is.
and millions of pieces of wood that are split a year, some are going to pop off like that, and it just happens. So I guess I don't know that I'll stand to the side of it too much anymore, because that's where that one went. And as the more we do, I've split a ton of cords of wood in my life, not like some people.
You had that one shoot at you.
Like
the
they
big
pop,
rounds
when they pop
forward.
off forward, they just fly a little. But that one that shot out the side was like a cannonball.
So what, like, how big does a eucalyptus tree grow? I mean, I guess I could Google all this, but since you guys are here and in person, I mean, it may sound stupid, but all I know about eucalyptus is the like leafy decorations people put in their homes.
Brad, thanks. Cheers. Have a good night.
Cheers, Brad.
And I'll definitely let you know what bourbon's available, and I'll definitely get some of this venison made up before we head to Boonville and to the Paul Bunyan show. I think both those shows are going to be a riot this year. I wish we could stay at Boonville longer, but one night, if we get the one night, it's going to be all we can do.
I don't know, because there is sports in that during that time, but I guess we'll see. We'll probably bring the kids with us if we can. Not that any of you want to.
Mark, the price of the Allwood compared to the Easton Made. So if you're talking the Allwood Musclewood that we have right now and the Easton Made 1222, which is the one that we have, if you're asking the price of those two, the 1222 I believe is $11,500 US. And when I bought my Easton Made, or my Allwood, when I bought that, I paid $15,500 for it, but the price of that machine now is $21,000 if I'm not mistaken. But he switched it to a diesel engine to sort of set it apart from the next model down, which is the one that Clyde got. That is the Locust, I believe. But so yeah, the price is not comparable, but the performance isn't crazy different. But I would love one day if somebody near me has one of the Easton Made diesels to put that thing, even though I have the Honda gas powered Musclewood, both those machines fly. And the new diesel Musclewood is a sub 3 second cycle time. And I know the Easton Made is a sub 3 second cycle time. So, I mean, both those machines, you need 3 or 4 people to run those things at capacity.
It's just impressive. It's just, to say the least, like, it's an impressive machine. Best job I ever had. That's right. Dennis.
That limousine splitter, I mean, that thing was, what was that, a 36-inch? So you're making a 3-foot split for like your maple syrup evaporators or your boilers or something. That's what's cool about these companies, is they can make you whatever you want. Well, I'm not going to speak for Andrew, but like something like that, like he made that thing to do a certain process, I guess. Make 36-inch pieces of wood with dual log. Like, you can somewhat customize these machines, and I love that. The competition in the industry is great, and we win from it because these guys have to stay on their game with customer service, customer relations, making a quality product. And it's I believe it's starting to show out there who does this stuff and who doesn't, and it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Alex is getting a table from Bobby.
that table, John, I got the idea from John, and it's, you know, when I told John about it at the Paul Bunyan show, and he was like, you need to change this and change that. But John's process and my process are different, and my process and your process are different. But that table for the way we do firewood is awesome. And the fact that it can work on any different machine, and I have other ideas that, you know, for different things. I try to think outside the box. I learn from what I see and I adapt it. And, you know, that's one thing why I did this channel, because sometimes I do stuff different and I still learn every day from people on this channel. But that table literally makes firewood effortless. Once it's on that table, if you could use it and see how it actually works, I don't think you can fully appreciate it from the videos.
Our video's blurry. Is it blurry for the rest of you? You can tell our kids to get off their Xboxes.
Bill, can I stop over at Easton Made and pick up your splitter when it's ready? I'd love to go check out that Easton
We're
Made
only
operation
like 6.5
someday.
hours away if we feel like driving, which I don't. Yeah, no, it is an awesome table. Okay, well, good. It's not blurry.
All right.
Like it's, I mean, you saw in that last video we had over at Jason's when it was just me splitting, like it was super easy. I mean, you need a hookaroon in my opinion, or it's not that
Yeah,
great.
you got to have a hookaroon because it's a big table.
And you got to work the hookaroon as seamlessly as I do. Because when I watched Doug do it, and I was like, what is he doing?
Doug, that was the first time he'd ever done it. And
well, you think I'm a hookaroon expert? I'm not a
You are a hookaroon expert. So Rachel would just hook the wood, pull it down, run it. Like Doug was just smashing that thing in. Like he thought he was trying to hit a home run every time.
It's more so just to like pull the round towards you. But I mean, sometimes I hook them if they're big.
Yeah, Bill. Bill, are you in Canada? Because if it's only a half hour from you, absolutely go get it. I know someone sent me
8.5.
Oh, 8.5.
You
All right.
wrong.
No, I would go get it for sure. One, because I wouldn't want to wait. And two, you can save on freight. And three, you could probably meet Andrew and see what it looks like.
You could check out the processors.
You could see the process of building one of those.
Yeah,
things.
ask them how the process is. This is getting rated R.
What did we do? What did you do while I was gone, Rachel?
I didn't do anything. Talking about I'm the expert on the hookaroon.
Oh no, the pickaroon.
The pickaroon. No. I am way safer than Heath is, Jimbo. You're not gonna see me fly backwards.
Oh no, you did stumble a little bit.
Well, I did kind of like, but I'm agile. Don't you worry about me.
Pickaroon expert grabbing the big wood. I had no intention of that.
Is that what he
you
said?
Guys are twisting it.
Yeah, don't be so dirty. What's wrong with you?
You sound like guys I work with now.
No. Do you have anything you wanted to say? You just want to answer their questions? Talk with them?
I think I did just about, the splitter wars. We're rerunning the Wolf Ridge versus the Easton Made. The next one's going to be Easton Made all wood. That one's going to be fun. We've got the box door splitters that we're going to do. I've got somebody I know that has a Timberwolf. I'm not sure what model. It's an older Timberwolf, but we're going to put that on there because I'm going to put on there what we can see, what I can get my hands on. I'd love to run like the Axis and the Power Split or the Super Split. I don't know if those are, the vertical splitters, but those are harder to find, I think. The kinetic splitters, like that would be cool. I plan on going back over to Joe's Premium Firewood at some point because he's over towards my hometown and maybe Ted can be there, Saw Surgeon. We went over there early on in our channel. I went over there with two of my boys and my nephew and we did a collaboration with Joe. And I wanted to run that Ultra, and that Ultra is awesome. Like for a small, fast, if you want to call it a resplit machine, but it's a real firewood splitting. I mean, you've seen Chris in the wood yard, thousands of cords or hundreds of cords of wood out of that thing. And I was shocked at how fast and smooth that thing ran. But yeah, so I mean, I love, if I didn't have a real job, I would just drive around and meet, like Shibe, when Shibe does his road trips. That's what I want to do when I retire. Just go around and do different shows.
You just said
I'll
if I
just-
didn't have a real job, like Shibe.
No, Shibe has a real job, but
What's the most cords of wood you ever did in a year?
oh man, I don't even know. Not a ton, really. Like
I mean,
this
it's
is
not.
time is my limiting factor. So like with the machines that I buy and the equipment that I buy at this point right now, it's not producing massive amounts of firewood. It's producing the most amount of firewood in the smallest amount of
Right.
time that I have, because I'll be lucky. I love making firewood, and I love, it's relaxing, it's enjoyable. Looking at a pile of splits is awesome at the end of the day. But I would say probably, I don't even know. I'd have to look. This
He
year would
doesn't
be the year
know.
that I sold the most that I've sold.
He doesn't. Do you keep track of how many you've sold?
Well, I have it all for tax purposes. So I could look back and see how much I've sold. But yeah, it's not an insane amount that I've produced, because I don't get to work at it a ton. And we burn a lot of what we do.
We burn it a lot. That's how we heat our
We
home.
heat, we've got a little over 3,000 square foot house, and we've lived here for 8 years, and I bought propane twice. So I am saving money, maybe. In the long run, I'm saving some money.
In his mind, he is.
But and I've got a wood stove to put in our hunting cabin too, because it had one when we bought it, but it was completely, it would have burned the house down had we used it, which maybe for insurance purposes would have worked. But
welcome, Larry. Glad to see you here.
what was, I saw something in it.
Well, yeah, I don't know that I would trust our kids alone with the all wood yet either, Alex. I mean, our 16-year-old ran it when we were in Missouri, and we were like very cautious.
Alex, I do think that box stores video is going to be cool,
I
and
think
I'm
it'd be
trying
cool.
to get it done here in the next couple weeks, because I mean, I would venture to guess that box store splitters make more firewood every year than all the commercial splitters put together, because there's a million of them out there. I could be wrong, but I know more of them sell every year, because every other person, not everyone is like me and goes out and buys an Allwood and an Easton Made and whatever else I can find. The average person is probably going to go out and buy a Champion or a Husky or something like that. So there's so many more of them out there. I feel like a lot of people will like to see how does the,
well, it's really nice to see, like, what does the box store splitter give you versus if you pay more and get this machine.
right. That's
Is it
another
worth
thing I
your
want to
time?
show. Like for me, people ask, like, do you produce enough wood to make it worth owning a commercial splitter? Like right now, no, but
That's
my time is what's more valuable to me, because the less time that I'm out to make the amount of wood that I do, the more time I get to spend with my kids at their sports. I get to spend with Rachel, taking her to get her nails done, taking her to the hair salon, bringing her to get massages, designing kitchens, stuff like that. But I track deer with my dog. I like to hunt. Like I don't have enough time for everything I do. So anything that I can do more efficiently gives me more time to do the other things. And to me, time's more valuable than money. So.
Right. So Shive getting to do all that. You're right, Tim. It's because he's not married and doesn't have 4 kids.
Right. But if you guys have to realize, if I end up not married, I lose half of or more of all of my stuff. So and Rachel, and then the channel goes back.
I wasn't even thinking about your stuff. I was thinking about I'm glad that's all you care about is all your stuff.
Come on now.
All the stuff.
See the problems
you're
you guys
going
are
to
causing?
lose. I thought you were thinking about what I add in production.
Chris, are you or David Briggs? Check out Chris in the Woodyard's new wood processor. Are you talking about the amazing machine that he got from Andrew? Or are you talking about the electric chainsaw with the piece of PVC pipe and the little thing that cuts off pieces of wood? Because I'll challenge him with my Belfour Samurai up against that thing. But if it's about that Easton Made processor, I ain't even gonna go there. The electric one, I'll go up against that with my Samurai, and you give me Rachel chucking the rounds off the end, and the Samurai will bust that Linwood down way fast. It costs a little more than that electric, but I did watch that video, and it's amazing what people come up with, like the home built stuff that's out there, like John Splitter from 1970. That thing's a monster. There was nothing
Right.
like that for, I bet you, 20 or 30 years
Yeah, that thing
after
is
he
crazy
built that
looking.
thing.
What did Robert? You should run a skip tooth chain on your 044. Makes cutting firewood fly.
That 044, I don't even have tuned in yet, but I did that short that I did. That was taking a absolute garbage chain that I think someone sharpened with a stone, with a rock and a stick, and I just ran it through that. I literally could barely cut through that piece of silver maple with it because it cut so crooked and it was smoking. And Rachel had to stop the video because shorts are only 60 seconds long. And then I just went and I hit it with that Granberg Dremel real quick. And then I went through and it cut real good. But yeah, I definitely want to run it with some better chains.
We've had a couple of people say that you'll get half of the kitchen that's not done.
She can have the whole kitchen. She can have the whole thing.
Can I have all of the cabinets that aren't installed? Jimbo, wouldn't you get to keep the new uninstalled cabinets? He can have those. Literally, he can take.
I'll put them in the garage and put chainsaw parts.
I'll find someone who will build me a brand new house.
You won't.
I'm a hard worker.
I'm not letting her go.
All right. What is someone said not everybody has me. That's right. Don't you forget it.
There's only one Rachel. Like,
oh yeah.
There are, you know what? We get comments, and the bigger we get, I get it. We're gonna get comments, but I don't care if you don't like the way we do something. If you think you do something better, if you think my splitter sucks and yours is better, that's fine. I really don't care.
Oh, no,
but if you disrespect my family or my wife, you're gone. I don't have time for that. You know, she's out there working as hard as anybody. And so if like somebody this week decided to say something negative about her, like, you're gone. I don't got time for that.
They weren't very nice.
No, I don't care.
I think some of Zach's friends is on here. Jackie Boo, is that J-Mac? Zach.
He's got a broken finger, we think. Our kids, yeah. We've got two kids with broken fingers right now, I think.
Kids injuries. So. Black eye, broken finger, 2 broken fingers.
Oh, yeah. Nate got a black eye wrestling, and it was a freaking awesome wrestling match. And he beat a kid who was older than him, was stronger than him, and I didn't think he was going to beat. And he just went out there, and he pretty much owned him the whole match. And they smashed heads together the entire time. And I'm like, they're both going to have messed up faces. And he comes home and he's like, Ma, look at my black eye. And she's like, put some ice on that. He's like, I ain't putting ice on it. That's freaking awesome.
He's like, it looks cool.
She's like, you ain't going to be able to see in the morning.
Right. 2 broken fingers, I think. Right. That's how, listen, Tim. That's how we
don't think we're bad parents, but usually if you break a bone in my family, if it's not sticking out of the skin, you're probably not getting to the doctor for a day or 2.
We have 4 kids. Do you know how many broken bones? We're very active. You think that the 2 of us work hard? Like, these kids play hard too. They're outside. We have had numerous sports and 4-wheeler injuries. So yeah, we did take one in, and it was broken. There was a chip out of the bone. It's the same. It's literally the same exact. It's the ring finger on the right hand. Same exact injury. And
Jimbo,
they don't do anything.
100%. You know, playing around and joking around. That's what Rachel and I do, and we love it when you guys interact with us and joke.
Right, but don't be mean.
But yeah,
that guy
saying that mean. Rachel's only on the show for people, you know, whatever. Like, Rachel's out there. We do a ton of work together off camera. Does she do more now than she used to? Like, absolutely. But we have fun doing it.
They were questioning my involvement, if it's just for the channel or not. And I'm like, what you see on film for a 25-minute video is such a small snippet of our actual life. Don't act like that's.
Andy said that she's not a legit realtor. Like, he doesn't know anything about her.
That I don't drive a Benz.
Because she doesn't drive. So goodbye.
I'm like,
how do you Jimbo, know? 100%, man. The jokes. We joke as much as anybody, and you're not going to offend Rachel.
Why do you know what car I drive? You don't know what car I drive, and why do I? No one that I work with drives a Benz, and we're all legitimate.
No. We live in a small town. We ain't in a big town where you're selling a couple $1 million homes. But
right, I'm not in like selling Sunset on a TV show, but
yeah.
I don't know. It was and just being accused of clickbait, having me being the
John, I'm gonna ban you. Don't talk trash about my splitters.
Right.
John, you need to load that bad boy up and bring it up here. Bring that
I'll
thing up to
slap it.
Michigan.
Yeah, we'll host you. You're welcome here.
Rachel wants to do a firewood frenzy since it got canceled. She's like, we'll do it in Michigan. My buddy Doug, they have a huge, beautiful property. They have a horse farm. They do
like a few hundred acres.
therapeutic riding.
The giant barns. We could actually.
They do a lot. Like maybe one day we can get something up here. They used to do a thing called Swamp Foot, like the Tough Mudder course.
Right.
And they would have.
We should do that for all the woodhounds.
Hundreds of people come and do this course. It's an awesome course. Like we did it. But yeah, maybe we could do a wood splitting competition and do the Swamp Foot course, which is an obstacle course with monkey bars and going through mud and like the Tough Mudder courses. And we can see you have to get through the 3-point-some mile course, and then you have to split a face cord of wood.
We'll see who's
by
standing.
hand.
Who's standing?
We would all die. We will all be dead.
Heath wants to do. I don't ever know. I always like disclose too much, so maybe I won't say that. I'm awesome. Thank you, Bucky. I do work hard. That's why I'm like, what are you calling me clickbait for? Do you watch the video? I'm actually in the video working, in case you didn't notice. I mean, you clicked on it, so what are you mad about? That's right. I like you clicked on it, you watched it, and then you're gonna tell me you didn't like that I was part of the video. Like, it's not fake. It's not just adding me for fun. Like, I'm active.
Plus, this person said that all the YouTube firewood channel
are alcoholics.
Consumers, all of you guys, he called all of you guys alcoholics. And I said, you know what? This guy's gone. I don't got time for you.
He had to screenshot and texted me. He's like, should I hit him with a ban? I was like, yeah, that guy. Like, I wasn't nice.
Good night, Richard. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Richard. Oh, yeah, I know you want to know what I
can tell you one, don't call her dumb.
Oh, yeah, don't ever question my intelligence. You will dead to me. It doesn't take much. I am not one who...
John, I won't cry. I'm not scared of your wood splitter.
Grown man cry. I am not a person who will let anybody be mean to me for any amount of time. It just takes one bad thing and you're dead to me, I say. I don't have time for negativity in my life, so.
Tim
don't worry,
says they've
Scott.
seen Shibe then. Shibe's not an alcoholic. He's a professional.
Oh, they've seen Shibe. Literally, my favorite part of Shibe's lives is how he just belches as if it's nothing. That makes me cackle. Like, I laugh so hard every single time.
Alex, I don't know why he was watching, but he's watched a lot of videos and commented on a lot of them. And I almost wonder if he was drunk when he made that comment.
I mean, he mentioned, he talked about a lot of the earlier videos too. So I'm like, you've been watching for a while.
He's watched all the videos and then he drops that. Like, guy, you clearly have watched them all.
You might want to check yourself because we don't play.
David, I'm a joy to live with. She doesn't put up with me. She enjoys me.
No, there's like some meme that goes. I don't know if the rest of you see this, but it says wife, but it's really husband. But it's like if you watch Yellowstone.
Good night, Dick, and don't think for 1 minute that you're not shotgunning a beer the next time we meet in person.
Oh, you definitely are, Dick. Team Husqvarna.
What were you saying? I didn't.
Oh, anyways, there's like on Yellowstone, it's like Rip comes out of the barn. And Beth is standing there and he says, like, I don't got time for you, or I can't even deal with you today or something. Like, this guy gets that all the time. Like, I can't even deal with you today. What was that?
It was the
Oh, every time anybody writes Night Dick, it's like it's flagging you.
You guys are getting flagged because they don't know that that's his name. So I have to clear these.
The other one offends you, saying your team has burned. I mean, that's our lawnmower.
So
I loved that thing till it
broke down, and then Husqvarna just bailed on me when I was under warranty, and then they said that the hydros weren't covered under warranty, and I have a commercial grade mower that has 100 hours on it, and they're just like, too bad for you. And I know. I haven't done enough research to know if Husqvarna saws and Husqvarna mowers are in the same world, but the fact that they have the same name right now has me sour. But I am looking for a good used Husqvarna saw. So my little brother, he stole a brand new Steel 661 and a Husky 395, I believe, both brand new from this old guy. and I want to say he paid $300 or $400 for the pair. And then he kept the Husqvarna 395 and he sold the 661 to his friend for what he bought it for. And I'm like, are you kidding me, guy? Like, I have a firewood channel. And so then his buddy who bought the 661 doesn't hardly even do firewood, but he knew it was a sweet deal. So when I was over at my brother's and he was doing concrete work, I was like, hey, sell me that 661. He's like, oh, no, that thing's worth a lot. I'm like, guy, I'll give you twice what you paid for it. And he wouldn't. He's like, I'm not selling that thing to you because if you want it, it must be worth money. So he's got a saw that he'll probably never run. And I really don't need one, but I want to run one just to see what it's like. But
what is that, Mary Jo? Is Mary Jo a real person, or do I need to like block that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, I will remove.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right,
but anyway,
don't worry about it.
Oh,
is Rachel?
Oh yeah, I think that's a spam maybe.
Oh God, how do I block? Report.
But anyway, so Alex, yeah, my Husky, it's the commercial mower, the commercial grade mower. And the dealer I've dealt with has been a nightmare. They're terrible. They've had my mower for almost a year now. But yeah, 100 hours and that thing's toast. Like, that's unacceptable. I don't care if it's within the warranty or not. If you have a commercial grade mower that at 100 hours quits working, then you should stand behind your product. So I'm a little sour on them right now.
That's right, Alex. It was, I ain't got time to deal with you today. That was it. And that's literally how I feel about Heath, probably 90% of the time.
I know you're asking Michael, you're asking Brad or Dick if he's going to old guy. You're asking Dick if he's going to Brad's on Friday. I would love to make it to Brad's on Friday. I think that's going to be a riot, and there's going to be a lot of really cool people there. Oh, Dick is still here.
Oh, good night, Hank. I missed it. Hank said good night. Jimbo's still here. Yeah, Chris, we are not forcing anybody to push play. That's why I don't understand why anyone would have a problem.
Right? If you don't like it, don't watch.
Like, no one literally is like, we're not sending you our videos, begging you to watch. If you don't, like, you clicked on it. And then you're going to be mad and call it clickbait. How are you calling it clickbait? I'm in the video and I'm working. I don't know. He just must be jealous that he doesn't have a Rachel.
Bill, I think my brother has a Hustler mower and he likes that. Right now I'm running an old John Deere regular rider because I bought that as a backup when they told me my mower was under warranty, and then it ended up over the 9-month span they've had it not being under. I don't know. It's been a long story, but anyways, I'm still battling with them.
Yeah, we still don't have it. When did you bring that in there?
The beginning of summer. Not that you need a mower for the summer.
Right.
But yeah, they're still
holding on.
They got hit with a small tornado too, and I was hoping it would take my mower out, but I was not that lucky. And yes, Brad's is a drive for me. I will probably make it there one day though.
Did you see Jeff's comment wondering if that Makita will keep up with the 500i?
You know what? If I is it Joe's Dyno? There's a firewood channel that the guy runs saws on dynos. I can't think of what it is, but he mod saws and he runs them on a dyno, and it shows the horsepower and the torque. And that Makita 7900 and the 500i, I don't remember which it is. The Makita has more torque or more horsepower, and the 500i has more of the opposite. So I haven't run one head to head with a 500i. I'd love to. I mean, I don't know that $900 saw is going to compete with however much a 500i is, but I don't think that it'll be too far behind. And I'm sad that Makita has dropped the gas line. So Sachs Dolmar, as far as I know, is essentially done because Makita bought Sachs Dolmar, and now they've dropped the gas line and they're only continuing with their battery powered saws. So if you want a 7900, then if you find one, you better grab it because I think they're going to be harder and harder to find. And I know people have commented that they hate the sound of that saw, but I like the sound of that saw.
They all sound the same to me.
Yeah.
What's our mower? Someone said, don't tell me you have the
It's a MZT 70 or 60,
yeah.
I think.
The PZ60 zero turn.
No, I think it's the MZT. I don't even know. We got the 60-inch.
We haven't seen it in 9 months.
Yeah, so it would fit on my
forgot.
trailer, so I could bring it back and forth between my
I
property.
mean, I really liked that.
But it was what they called their commercial mower, and
no commercial. Like we are so rough on everything.
Yeah, when I buy equipment,
we
I
need
use
genuinely commercial.
Good night,
everything.
Robert. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, Craig, get better. I'm glad you're okay, but it sucks that you were in a wreck.
Had a broken rib once.
I had a rib just pop out, and the pain that it caused was insane.
That was a kayaking incident.
Oh, I did. I had 3 broken ribs from the kayaking incident, and I didn't. In my defense, for our kids' broken bones, I had 3 broken ribs. And I didn't go to get them x-rayed for 6 months. I kept going to the chiropractor, and they kept cracking them. So I could probably get a malpractice lawsuit.
Right. And the same kayaking trip, my brother-in-law ended up with a broken wrist.
Yeah, there was some alcohol consumed.
It was user
Maybe
error.
That's where the firewood.
I was also on the trip, and I did not come out with broken anything. So
I take care of my girl.
User error. I also was not in the kayak. Well, I was when you got the broken rib.
Yeah, I was in the back seat.
I was literally thought I was going to drown for that one, but I made it out okay. Thank you, Kevin. We are not clickbait. I agree. I mean, I could give you clickbait if you want.
You know what? Go just click on my videos. Go to Hardworking Man. Click on the videos, and you'll see one where I tried to do my own thumbnail, and I was just being stupid, laying down by a pile of logs. I think I got 30 views. I got like 30 views. Nobody wants to watch that.
You see me like for that last video where I'm climbing on. I'm like, why do I have to be in all the thumbnails? Like, it's not like I'm, whatever. It doesn't matter.
What's the buzz? Yeah, I got a I don't even know. It's a old John Deere rider, and that thing's going. But yeah, that Husqvarna. It was the nicest mower I've ever bought, and it's been the biggest disappointment ever.
David wants to know how he can get his wife to help you split. I don't know. Has she ever gone out there at all? Like, full disclosure, I had no idea what a log splitter was for a very long time.
So I started with a Husky. Well, we started with an axe, a maul, and I said, I'm splitting everything by hand when we started burning wood, and that didn't last long. And I bought my first Husky 35-ton splitter off Craigslist for, I want to say, $500, and the guy delivered it to me from like 45 minutes away. So that tells you the difference in what the market was back when I bought that. And then when I got rid of the Husky, I picked up Old Blue, which now Old Blue is 10 times the machine it was when I bought it. But when I bought it, that thing would still outsplit the Husky, not speed-wise, but production-wise, because it had the adjustable wedge, it had the tall wedge. I could stack wood, and it would push it off the end, and I would just make piles of wood. And then Doug brought that Wolf Ridge over, and that was like, oh, my gosh, like, this is amazing. And then I got to run an all-wood and an Easton made, and I mean, there's not much that you can improve from that point on. Once you're down to the 4 or 5 second cycle time and with wood in it running those times. But once I got the nicer splitter, like Rachel ran Blue a couple times.
It's an impressive machine. I have complete respect for these machines. Like it's kind of fun to run them now. Like I had for years, him and his brother have been talking about log splitters. I have no idea what they were even talking about, because my kids were all so little. So I had to be inside. Like I can't go work outside with him if I have toddlers inside who's watching them, right? So once my kids became older and more competent to be alone, and then they start running the log splitters, I'm like, okay, what's this? And our schedules are not always aligned, and there might be, it's why I go on deer treks with him and do a lot of stuff most girls typically might not do, but that's the only time I might see him that day before I'm at work, he's at work. So
right.
I just started going out there. I'm like, all right, teach me. Just like if you watched me running the chainsaw, like I've never even attempted
started a chainsaw.
Like I have no idea, but I'm like, all right, teach me how to do it. Like I'm willing to learn anything. But
yeah, Kevin, the thumbnails, and I've seen videos like that before where they're like, oh, I figured out the algorithm, and it's got chicks in bikinis drilling a hole in the ice for ice fishing. Like the algorithm discovered, like if people don't click on that thumbnail to watch your video, they won't know what your videos are. So you got to get new people to click to watch them. And then they see, we have fun. We have a lot of fun out there. And honestly, we have to edit out a lot of it because Rachel's like one of the guys when she hangs out, and I have to keep her in check sometimes.
See, Kat says, Rachel, keep up the sass. I couldn't.
She's got plenty of sass.
I couldn't not. It's not made up. Let's just say that I actually have to hold it back for most people. Like if you see the sassy Rachel, I like you.
Kevin, I'm gonna have to go back and look at that thumbnail and see.
Yeah, promise her a kitchen. I don't know if that'll work, David. I've been promised a kitchen, Tim, for a very long time.
No, listen. I'm gonna give you guys all a
You wrote
secret.
it on an IOU.
No, I did not. So I once learned when I was a young man that you need to keep women wanting more. And so I do that.
Who taught you that? Your dad who got divorced?
No. I don't know that I have interpreted it correctly.
Right.
But so I'm like, oh, you want a new kitchen? All right.
I think at this point he's just spiteful that I'm asking for it. I'm not gonna get
thanks,
it.
Kevin. And if you want to put that short out, I mean, we both laughed when we watched it. So feel like we said, feel free. You're not gonna offend Rachel.
No, it's perfectly fine. Which one of you does all the cooking and cleaning?
Do it, Matt. You got to.
We'll let Heath give his story.
Have you guys seen the video?
This is like a fiction story, a creative writing assignment, if you will. We'll tell.
Rachel says. So if you watch the introductory video to this channel, I apologize because it's terrible and I'm boring as can be. Like guys at work, the first few videos, they're like, "You're one of the funniest guys I know, and you might be the most boring person on YouTube." And I was brutal, but in that video, I say, like, when a man's doing work, that's where our channel name Hardworking Man came from. Because if I was doing something,
it didn't matter what he was doing.
If you don't announce it, people might not even know you're doing it. Like I'm constantly cleaning and picking up stuff and all that, but no one notices because they don't see that a dog.
The kids are looking over.
They don't see that a dog peed on the floor and Dad cleaned it up.
No.
Because I didn't. So when I'm doing something and I'm coming through the house, it doesn't matter if I have a basket of laundry that was just in my way and I just had to move, or if I'm working on a broken cabinet door or whatever, I would just yell, "Hardworking man coming through." So that way they know I'm working. They know I'm doing something. Right. And they're like, "Man, Dad's impressive. He's always doing something." And so in the video, I believe it was making splitter food. I said something. She got when she ran the saw for the first time, with the new Steel 044, and we were cutting up wood on the 3-point grapple on the tractor, and she was wearing her hoodie, which my bad, we didn't tuck the strings in. I meant to, and I forgot. But she got a bunch of sawdust in the pouch of the hoodie, and she said something about doing laundry. And I'm like, I do laundry all the time. And in my defense, I do laundry. I wash and I dry laundry all the time. I don't fold and put away laundry all the time. But I have my own little basket of laundry because I have merino wool socks, merino wool First Light underwear, and certain stuff that you can't put that in the dryer and high heater. It's going to shrink. So I wash all of that.
So he'll wash it himself.
I wash all that myself. But I also, if I'm downstairs and the washer's not running and there's dirty clothes, I'll put it in. I'll wash it. I'll switch it to the dryer. And so she's like, whatever, you need to have proof. So in that video,
I said, take a selfie.
Yeah, she was in bed. She was sleeping and I was up. And so I took a selfie. I took a selfie of me sweeping. I took a selfie of me mopping. I took a selfie of me doing laundry. I took a selfie of me doing dishes.
He doesn't do any of that. He didn't clean a bathroom until this year. And because I shamed him.
I did clean a bathroom. I'd steam clean that.
Yeah, because he bought a steamer.
I bought a steam cleaner.
He bought a steam cleaner. I said, put that bad boy to use. YouTube. Let's do it. There. Friggin' Jeep said that I'm in all the thumbnails because I get my nails done. No, I do my own nails, John.
Yeah, she doesn't get her nails done anymore. I transferred that money into buying equipment.
It's been a couple years since I've paid anybody else to do my nails, but that's funny. But no, I'm a really good wife as far as cooking. Like I do homemade
that's
dinners
where it started.
Every night. I just made homemade cookies today. Like everything is from scratch. Like you get everything.
So back to the cooking. So like
Heath does cook on the flat top.
I cook outside if it's grilling or if it's deep frying or if it's smoking or on the flat top. Like I do all that. I'll make dinners in the house. Like I do a lot. I'll get up and make breakfast sometimes. Baking, I don't bake anything. Rachel, all of my kids, my boys and my daughter all bake. My daughter makes amazing cakes.
Yeah.
Like she said, her brownies are from scratch, cookies from scratch, breads from scratch, muffins from like all, and it's amazing. I should probably weigh 600 pounds, but
We work it off in the wood yard.
yeah. So, but yeah, so we both cook, and I've cleaned bathrooms once or twice, but I do a lot of laundry, and I like when I cook, if I'm cooking,
We have a lot
so we
of
have
laundry
a
to do.
dishwasher. But like if I'm cooking and I use a pan, a lot of times I'll just wash it and set it to the side because it's easier to wash it when it's fresh than to let it sit there. But our kids' chores are dishes because we want them.
Hit this, it makes the camera.
Oh, so we want our kids to have some responsibility. So dishes are their chore and vacuuming is their
And he
chore.
invested in a steam cleaner. I don't know if he could sell it for what he
That
paid.
wasn't an investment. That was
He bought it,
that
what?
was an expense, and it's
Why
not
did
as
you buy
impressive as
that?
it looked like
No.
for detailing cars.
For detailing cars.
And it didn't do that, but it did do good in the bathroom.
That's it. Outdoors with Matt. Have your wife wear a hard hat and a bikini. Yeah. He always says that he shows me those videos of girls in bikinis for stuff. And he's like, you need to do this. I'm like, literally, I thought you wanted people to click on it. No one would click on my picture in a bikini on the thumbnail. No. Outdoor boiler. Don't have to worry about the kids in the house. I don't have to worry about the kids anymore, Alex. My baby is 13, so they're set. They're the ones who have to take care of Heath now. I've passed that on. Edward, you're not telling Heath to come down to St. Louis, I hope. We just were there. Great cookie recipe. I have like my solid recipes, John, that I have perfected, and they are literally the best. And our oldest came home today from college. He's like 2 hours away from us, and randomly just popped in, and he was here for maybe 3 hours. And it was when I was just taking fresh chocolate chip cookies out of the oven. So I mean, that couldn't be a more perfect time to show up at home, if you ask me. I was happy I actually made them. It's because I made them yesterday. We had an all-day wrestling tournament for the varsity. And I always make brownies because the boys always request it. And then I made chocolate chip cookies. And our 16-year-old didn't get a single cookie, and he was sad. So I said, oh, I'll make you cookies today. So that's why.
Oh, we said we were going to do a giveaway. We need to do a giveaway.
What are you giving away?
Either a hat or a shirt. You can tell us which one you want. We got a black hats, or we got gray and black hats. We've got a couple different shirts. The first person to put what the first chainsaw Rachel ever ran was in the comments will win something.
Oh, good, Alex. You have more stickers. People keep asking us for stickers. No, Jimbo, he didn't bring laundry. He actually...
Tim got it.
He stopped at his girlfriend's and did laundry, so that's kind of funny.
Tim, first answer was the right answer, the 044. So, Tim, let us know. Shoot me an email, hardworkingmanoutdoors@gmail.com.
Timon, do you watch our videos? He said like 5 times.
Timon, send us a 500i.
Yeah, he's never ran the 500i.
We bet that Michigan would beat Ohio State in that football game, and we won. So you owe me a 500i.
Oh, Timon's in Ohio, right?
Yeah, both of Michigan and Ohio let down, and then Georgia just destroyed TCU.
I thought you said you don't know anything about sports.
I said I watched the playoffs. One of my buddies that I work with, his son plays for Michigan, and is
He
pretty
said
good.
nope. I said, do you watch our videos? Nope.
He just watched enough to win that Husqvarna.
You just see the
Dogs.
clickbait and are like, I'm not falling for this. Nope.
Oh, Jimbo, that's not a chainsaw though. Did I say chainsaw or saw?
Saw.
That was the first
I don't know
one.
what he said. Rewind.
Jimbo wins too.
Maybe.
Jimbo and Tim won.
Listen, maybe Andrew is still watching 30 minutes behind us, so he can fix when he gets to this point.
Jimbo, we got to give you a win for that too, because I think you're more right. But so Tim and Jimbo win.
That was
so
the first saw I ran.
Let us know.
Belfort.
Let us know what you want. Again, Jimbo, shoot me an email, hardworkingmanoutdoors@gmail.com, and we got the hats or we got the shirts. What size and what color? For the shirts, for the men, we have the black and we've got the tan. And then for the hats, we have all black or we have gray with a black backing.
Trucker caps. Thanks, Jay. It was. I was so he likes to scare me about everything. And
No,
tell
you
me,
have to respect the chainsaw.
Trust me, I respect the chainsaw, but he's like, this is gonna flip up and hit
No,
you in
I
your
said
face.
it could if you're not.
I don't know. I was a little worried.
Thanks,
Scooter,
Kevin.
I think Kevin wants a hat.
Kevin, we'll get you a hat too because you got us on your live. But these are the two we have left right now. But so let me know which one you want.
Listen, if
except I gotta ship it to Canada, but I'll mail it maybe when I'm in Canada. 'Cause I go to Canada.
we're in Sarnia, mail it.
Jimbo, you just lost your prize. You don't get to win kitchen cabinet.
Cabinets. Anybody wants to come redo my kitchen, I will not say.
Actually, Kevin, are you going to Boonville or to Paul Bunyan? Because we're going through Canada on our way to Boonville.
You know what? I just thought of a good hat. If Andrew, I see everybody has their like Easton made hats. If I ever have an Easton made hat, I want on the back to say it's a processor. That's what I want.
Easton made processor hat.
I mean, it could say Easton made on the front, but then say it's a processor. I just love that.
Well, Kevin, I can either mail you a hat or I'll
I'll give
bring
you a
one for you
bunion.
to Bunyan.
It's October.
That's going to be a lot of fun, though. That I think this year Bunyan is going to be huge because last year was that. I think that's the first time anyone's ever done a live from there.
Are you inviting me to come run the processor? I'll make time. I can be there.
Yeah, let us know. I would. I love doing this stuff. I'm telling you, I need to retire from my real job.
Yeah, we have a lot of Canadians over here because we're like right on. There's an international bridge near us, and so like a lot of our healthcare workers at the hospitals, they're Canadian. They come over, and people just come over here and marry Americans and are established. So right in where we live, anytime you go shopping, like if I'm up in the whatever town and it has like at the Home Depot, the Meijer, the TJ Maxx, whatever, it's all like you can tell they're Canadians. You just hear them talk, and it makes me giggle. I do like it.
I don't like the way they drive though.
No. Or the truckers. We don't like them. And they bring all their trash over into Michigan and dump it.
James, you hope she's a lefty. What's
Why?
that for?
Oh, like if I cut my hand off?
I don't know what that.
Oh, see, Kevin. Kevin goes to Port Huron to pick up things they can't find on their side. Yeah.
Kevin, let me know the next time you're over. I'm literally 15 minutes from Port Huron.
I go to there all the time. That's the town I'm talking about where we see all the Canadians there. But yeah, well, and you hear a lot of them that talk like in French, like the French Canadians, which I feel like we're so stupid because when we grew up on the west side of the state, like we thought Canada was only like our only experience with going to Canada was through the UP up in Sault Ste. Marie. So when we were like over on the east side driving around,
oh, that's why.
Back when
left-hand joystick on the processor.
I can do it.
She runs when she runs that pickaroon. She runs that.
Listen, when I play hockey, I'm a lefty, so I can do whatever you need.
And I'm both. I'm like I write left-handed, but I shoot guns right-handed. Like I do things both. And actually, my oldest boy who plays baseball, he can play baseball right or left-handed, and he's naturally right-handed, but he can pitch left-handed and strike kids out.
He can bat left-handed.
I told him, I'm like, you should get one of those gloves that can switch and just switch based on the batter. But he's definitely stronger right-handed. But
Bill was worried for me since he used to have an 044 and started and seeing that you had a crappy chain on it.
that crappy chain on that 040.
Don't worry about me, Bill.
That's one of the reasons that I ain't gonna say let her because Rachel does what she wants, but that felt comfortable letting her run an 044 the first time she ever ran a saw was because one, it was a silver maple tree that was lifted up in the air, which is way easier. A smaller diameter tree, and that carbide chain for what it's designed for, that thing's amazing. If you're cutting dirty wood, nasty wood, like you can cut anything with that and it's going to cut just as fast as it did when you started, but it's not fast no matter what. So it doesn't bite in. It's not going to kick back. It acts different than a regular chain. I wouldn't put her on a full chisel chain on that old 44 and say, here, try a chainsaw and see what you think.
I don't know. Everybody commented though, like, what are you giving her that saw for? And I was like, was that supposed to be a problem? Like, I didn't feel like it was a problem when I ran it, but I guess we'll see when I run the Echo.
Yeah, I've got a 50cc Echo and I've got a Steel 260 Pro, which are both going to be more.
And I guess I don't know what to do, good or bad.
Arthur, I think you are probably behind in the chat because you just answered a question I asked like 10 minutes ago.
On the right side of your video,
I do this
if
too.
you click, it'll put you back up to where we are, is what my kid taught me. Kevin wants me to explain to his wife what the big deal about saws and splitters. She's got to run them, Kev. She just doesn't know yet. I didn't care about anything until I'm out there. And then I'm a person who wants to like learn and know everything about everything that I'm working with and dealing with. So I don't like to be, like we said, one of my big pet peeves is to call me stupid. I don't ever want to feel stupid. And I hate when I don't know like the proper names for things, or I want to be able to speak intelligently on it. So if I'm going to do it, I'm going to learn it. I mean, the wood splitter is fun. Running old Blue is not fun.
Blue is 10 times the splitter that it was.
It's way different now. That's very true. But like in the beginning,
if you guys haven't seen, so don't get me wrong, like with everything, there's pros and cons. So a slower splitter has its benefits, but when I got Blue initially, it was a 24-second cycle time, 24 seconds down and back. So you could put a piece of wood in there. Once it made contact and was in there, you could sit on the fender and drink a beer while it went down and then came back. I've got it down to around the 10, 11 second cycle time now and running better than ever. And I've adjusted the wedge and there's a few more tweaks I want to make to it because that's going to eventually go to one of the subscribers who's been great. And I just want to make it as best as I can for him when he can come up and pick it up. And I just want to see how good I can make it. So, but yeah, she didn't have fun running a 24-second cycle time machine. But now with the Easton made and with the Allwood running a 4 or 5 second machine, like, yeah, they have their drawbacks because once in a while, if a piece of wood kicks or something or it doesn't go like you want, it is what it is with those machines. You're not stopping it or fixing it, so, but you make so much firewood so fast. It used to take us, the two of us working together, it would take an hour to make one face cord of wood. And now in an hour, if we worked together and had rounds ready, I would think we could make maybe even up to 2 full cords. Like that pile we made in the video when Rachel's up on that log pile, that pile we made in under 2 hours. And most of that wood I bucked up while Rachel was splitting. So it was log chunks when we started.
Yeah, and you made the mistake of splitting behind me. You got yelled at for that.
Oh yeah, when I cut behind you. So I do stuff like she said. I've used up my 9 lives about 30 different times. I feel like I hyper focus and I get tunnel vision, and not much scares me. So I don't have fear of a lot of things. So, but that sometimes it's not a good thing. So like there was just one log behind her, and I was, the camera angles can be deceiving. I wasn't standing right behind her running.
And
a
if he
chainsaw.
was, I would have turned around and been like, "Get out of here!"
But so I was behind her, probably further than it looked. But it still wasn't a wise choice to run that saw because
behind me.
If the chain breaks and you're in front of me, that's not a wise thing. But I guess I don't always see all of it. I'm not probably always the safest person in the world, which could be why I have near-death experiences fairly regularly. But I feel at this point, like,
but it's why I also don't trust him when he's like, "Can you come help me?" And I'm like, "Nope," because he tries to crush me.
No, I don't try to crush her. So one huge benefit of having a wife like Rachel. Rachel is strong. She takes pride in her strength. She works out a lot. So normally if, like, say I have something, I'm not good at asking someone to help me. If I am doing something that I'm like, man, I need help doing this. And she'll be like, why don't you call so-and-so down the street? I'm like, no, I'll just figure it out myself.
He's like, you can just help me.
But so with Rachel being strong, she's stronger than a lot of guys that I work with. So I'll be like, Rachel, come help me do this. And she's like, I can't. I'm like, yes, you can. You just got to do this. But so just so you guys understand what she has to live with, I bought a Smith's machine, which if you work out, it's it's
like a
for,
squat rack.
you can do
cable.
a squat
It's
rack,
got
you can do
200
bench
pounds
press.
on the
It's got a
table.
weight stack on it. So I bought this. It's a gym quality Smith's machine at an auction. I got a great deal on it.
Not
And
Facebook Marketplace. This was auction.
it was
time.
online auction. I love those too. I don't go on them anymore because they cause problems. I buy too much because you can just
ban
click
him
and
from
buy
certain
things.
ones.
You can
Yeah.
just click and buy things. It's awesome. But so I bought the Smith's machine and I had it on this trailer. And so I unloaded a bunch of it. So the rack with the squat bar on it was on there still. And then the weight stack was on the back. And me not thinking, I was like, okay, tilt this thing up and I'll pull that weight stack off the back. Well, when she did that,
pull up the trailer. It was on a trailer.
so she tilted the trailer up.
He told me to hold the tongue of the trailer.
To hold the tongue of the trailer up. And then I slid that weight stack off the back, not realizing that the minute that I did that, it turned the tongue weight into probably 1,000 pounds.
A lot.
And so it ripped the trailer out of her hand.
No, it started going down, down, down. And I'm like, I'm going to crush my feet. I'm going to crush my feet.
So
but I just let go.
It smashed the ground. Then the entire
whole
rack
thing
fell down and the bar hit her in the back and crushed her down to the ground. Luckily,
hit our car.
Luckily, it hit our car and smashed out the taillight and dented
literally
it.
crushed me to the ground.
But so it's stuff like that she doesn't trust me anymore. Because I didn't think the whole process
I'm
through.
like, you're going to kill me and I can't deal with that.
But that Smith's machine is in our gym now. So we're good. It was successful and Rachel's still here next to me.
Well, when we moved here and you needed your help. Yeah, it's bent now. It doesn't work perfect.
It is not bad.
When we needed help moving here with our gun safe, he's like, well, you can help. And we tried to get like a moving company and they wouldn't. They would not move it in. So I said,
the gun safe. I had to move. So she made me get my buddy from work.
Helping you with that one.
Because it's not a small gun safe.
No.
Bill, yes, Rachel is a realtor and she's an amazing realtor. And
you do have to learn
You
fast.
have to stay on your toes. And when the market's crazy, because you have a few years, you've been a realtor, 3 years.
Yeah.
So she came in when the market was crazy. Other realtors don't care to help you at that point. They're not going to teach you because they're so busy.
Busy.
So she had to just learn herself and she's done amazing. But yeah, it is. And there's always something different and she always knows what to say and what to do. And there's a lot of bad realtors out there.
Alex says I have that realtor confidence. Yeah. The fake it till you make it confidence. Is that what you mean?
I always say whatever you do it like you know what you're doing and people will believe you.
Right.
That's how I go through my job.
Oh yeah, James used to be in Facebook Marketplace, got sick of driving and meeting people. He doesn't like to sell anything on Facebook Marketplace
for
I don't
that
like dealing
reason. With people.
Because so many people are like, oh, I'm going to buy it. And then they show up and offer you half or just don't show up. So he doesn't like to sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace. He does that for auctions.
Yeah.
Auctions.
When I sell stuff, a lot of times I just bring it to an auction because I know when I drop it off, I'm done with it. And then I'll get a paycheck.
Edward says, come with me and you'll see a world of OSHA violations.
Oh, there's no OSHA. I can never have employees because OSHA only comes into play when I think you have 2 or 3 employees. So
no one's
I can never have employees because OSHA would cut for me.
Right. You have a Facebook video and everyone's claiming
Yeah,
OSHA.
They're like, oh, you're OSHA violator. I'm like, I'm not an OSHA violator. I'm not covered by OSHA. I'm
just some guy cutting a tree off a roof.
Doing what I do. I'm doing what I've done my whole life.
Mind your business. Yeah.
What was I? Richard, I do stuff all the time that I don't know how to do. And my problem is I'll do something I've never done before and I expect that I can do it like I've done it my whole life. And I want the results to be perfect. Like I'm a perfectionist. So that drives me crazy. Like that's why I don't finish a lot of my projects. And life insurance, Rachel will be fine. I mean, don't tell her that, but she'll be all right if one of these days something does get me.
Do you stack all your wood into totes? Mark wants to know.
I do a lot into totes, but some I do, and like I'm still working on my process. So the totes I love. The totes make it so handy, especially because I'm constantly changing what I'm doing.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I do a lot in totes, and then some I just do. I don't stack outside of totes. If I'm stacking, it's in a tote.
Right. We're not stacked anywhere. Kev's got to go. Good night, Kev. Oh,
Yeah, let us know the next time you're in Port Huron, and one day we will make it up and run that processor.
why,
'Cause those things are
Scott, why'd you
awesome.
take your message away? I already read it. Too late.
What did it say?
He said he watched my YouTube and had to laugh at my realtor humor. You got to laugh at it because it's kind of a bullshit job for the most part. Like, you got to find the humor in it, Scott. I try. Jennings, what's your first name? Unless you don't want to tell us. I just like to refer to you as your first name.
Alex, speaking of gun safe, so my gun safe is one of the wide ones. So I don't know how heavy it is, but the fact that to get it through a door, it has to be the wide way. The leverage is what kills you because it sticks so far out from the two-way dolly. But I did buy a real safe when I was younger from a restaurant that went out of business to turn into a gun safe. And that thing is concrete filled. And I bought it. I think I paid $40 for that safe out of this restaurant. And so me and my dad went there with his half-ton Chevy truck. And we thought, we'll just get that thing, tip it onto the tailgate and push it up in there. That wasn't happening. So my dad is who I've learned a lot of my stuff from. We just figure out how to get stuff done. So we had tilted this safe onto his tailgate. Then we got it up far enough to get jacks under it, to jack it, to lift it, to try to slide it. That thing was so heavy, it snapped the steel cables on his tailgate. And so we got it loaded, and it's actually still at my dad's house and in his basement filled with stuff. But that safe, I don't know what it weighs. It also had a steel vault welded into the bottom that I removed. And the vault that was in the bottom was like probably 3-inch thick steel on all sides. So that thing weighed an insane amount. But yeah, it broke his tailgate cables, but we still got it loaded and got it home.
Alex says it sounds like an OSHA violation. So when Edward said it, come with me and you'll see. It's to the tune of, you might not know this. He doesn't know any pop culture in case anybody wondered. But the Willy Wonka, come with me and you'll see a world of OSHA violations. It's a song.
Yeah, that should be my song.
Yeah. That's right. Oh, John.
John, I bet you did have a fair amount of OSHA violations.
Listen, John, I really feel like watching your videos. I'm watching the future Heath. So keep it up. It gets a good laugh. It's very familiar.
Scott, Rachel will text me constantly. She's like, fix your comment, fix your comment, fix your comment. Because I type and I send, and it is what it goes out. People know what you mean for the most part. My dad, like I said, he was born and raised in the UP. He graduated high school without hardly going to school because he was working on the farm and doing whatever. And he'll send text sometimes, and I'll just be like, Rachel, decipher this.
No,
please.
Literally, Heath's answer to all of his dad text messages
trying to say?
Huh?
Or
that's what he texts. Yeah.
Because I don't know what he's trying to say.
And I decipher
he was a diesel mechanic for 50 plus years. He's got the short, super fat fingers. And he'll send a message, and I have no idea what he's trying to say. No idea at all.
Yeah,
and Rachel will be like, oh, he's asking you this. And I'm like, okay. And then I'll answer him.
Right. I'm like, this is it. It's fine as long as I can figure it out. I used to be very particular about fixing and making sure I had proper English and grammar in all my texts. And now I'm like, figure it out. If you can't, then don't talk to me. Talk to text. Heath tries to talk to text. It does not understand what he says.
I don't talk right.
Because when he says kin, it doesn't know what to say.
I was born and raised in Michigan, and constantly people are like, where are you from? Texas? You from the South? I'm like, no, I just don't talk right.
It's a little bit of like hip hop hillbilly is what Heath's accent is.
I need Jimbo, that battery powered refrigerator dolly would have came in handy because at our last house, again, going back to me having Rachel help me I like buying quality stuff, quality equipment.
What did you put down? Are you talking about when you put something in the basement and it fell and you went with
I bought a commercial grade treadmill. I forget what is that brand?
I don't know. We still have it.
It's the one that was on Biggest Loser. Like it's in gyms. It's a like I don't even know $6,000 treadmill or whatever it is. But so I bought this thing and we wanted it in our basement. So I'm like, we can do it. So I take the riser off from it or whatever you call the base of that thing and the motor. I don't know how much it weighed. I had it on a dolly. And I'm like, Rachel, help me get this thing in the basement.
No.
We're like trying to go down the stairs, and she's on the bottom side of it
Of course, because when it falls, who's gonna get?
Well,
crushed?
I'm thinking I got to be up top to hold it. That was a scary situation, but nonetheless, we got it in the basement and we got it back out
Y'all
of the
see
basement.
what I deal with?
We got it back out of the basement, and it's now in our gym now here, and it still works great. But that thing, like I was nervous because at a point I was like, I don't know if I can hold this thing anymore.
I thought you like went and like drug you down. No.
No. So
was that
you might be talking about. So we had a wood stove.
It was in the basement at that house.
That could have been the treadmill. I might have just told you to get out the way.
I think he said get out of the way, and then he just let loose.
But this is one of the things I like about videotaping my life. So like we got our fireplace insert downstairs. We have 2 fireplaces in our house, one in the lower family room, one in the upper family room. They were just fireplaces when we bought it. We put the insert in the lower part, and it works great, except for when we get the long extended spells of single digit low temperatures, then it can't keep up. And I hate hearing the furnace run because that's just money burning. So I had bought another insert to go in our upper fireplace, and it was an older one, whatever. I hadn't put it in yet. It was in the basement waiting. Our sump pump failed. The basement flooded. Our insurance, even though we had the sump pump backup coverage, it wasn't worth the $5,000 deductible. So a bunch of the stuff down there just got ruined. And I'm like, this wood stove, I'm just taking it to the scrapyard. So to get it out of the basement, I used to come along and I cranked it up the ramp into the trailer, got it in the trailer, strapped to the 2-wheel dolly. We get to the scrapyard. This was before I had a dump trailer. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll just tilt this. It was hard to tilt on the dolly because all the weight's low. And I'm like, I'll tilt it up. I'll get it to the ramp and just lower it down slowly. And Rachel was sitting in the truck and she's like, I should videotape this, but she didn't. It was pre-YouTube, any of that stuff. So this thing, when it hit that ramp, it was like, see you later. And it just took off. It gets down to the bottom and the dolly wheels hit the dirt at the scrapyard and just stop. And so that thing turned into a lever launch system, and I'm trying to hold it the best I can. And it literally launched me like Superman, and it was strapped to the dolly, and I flew. I can only imagine how awesome I looked. I flew into the dolly, and it kicked the dolly out, and I landed on top of the dolly like this, and it blasted my knees. My knees were split open. And I was laying there, and the guy from the scrapyard comes running over, and he's like, are you all right? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, that was awesome. He's like, that was freaking awesome. And Rachel's like, I wish I would have taped that. And I'm sort of mad that she didn't.
Well, I thought to myself, this isn't going to go well.
And it didn't go well.
Trying to do something. I should record this, but then I didn't, unfortunately. What brand of gun safe do you have? Well, looks like a Centurion.
Can you see that from here?
Yes.
It's the Fat Boy. The Fat Boy is the model. I have stories about everything. So that gun safe, it's the Fat Boy, which is the narrower, wider one.
No long stories.
And so there was a store here, Gander Mountain, that had one of these safes. And I went in there, and it was on sale one time. And I'm like, hey, can I get one of those safes? And they're like, all we have is the display model.
Oh, the light's more in his eyes.
And I'm like, so will you sell the display model? They're like, nope, we won't sell the display model. I'm like, okay. So I would go every couple, and I got a rain check for it for the sale price. And I kept going back. And they never had one. And then I go in one day and the safe is gone. And I'm like, hey, what happened to that safe? And they're like, oh, we're not getting any more. We sold it. And I'm like, I've been trying to buy that thing forever. They told me they wouldn't sell the display model. And so they said, well, let me call around to other stores and see if they have one. So they called another Gander Mountain, and they're like, we have one back here, but it's on layaway. Somebody had put the safe on layaway. They quit making their payments, so they still had the safe. And they said, well, we still have the safe. The people quit making the payments. And so they literally let me buy that safe for the remaining balance due. So I got, I want to say it was a $1,200 or $1,300 gun safe for like $400. So what ended up sort of irritating me in the beginning ended up being a steal at the end. But it's not fun to move at all.
No.
Because like I said, you have
The
to
moving
move it the
company,
wide
I
way.
called 2 different moving companies.
Yeah, moving
and they both
companies are
said
like, we
no.
won't move that. I'm like, this is sort of what you do for a living.
Yeah, I thought that's who would do it, but they said no. We
Richard?
use our treadmill all the time, Richard, for walking, running. We don't really. He's just ran a mile on it the other day.
I did. I can run
We
when I
don't
get
hang
back in
clothes on
shape.
it. We have a gym. We have like quite a nice gym set up actually, so no one's hanging clothes on there.
But I will say probably the majority of treadmills end up being clothes drying
Mhm.
racks.
Or elliptical machines. Don't ever buy those. They're junk. All right. No one's commenting anymore. Should we end it?
Yeah, probably. We got 70 viewers. And it's getting late. I got to work tomorrow. Story of my life.
All right, guys. Unless you have some other pressing question, I think we're going to close her out. Where does Alex live? I think I forget. They said they have our. He said he has our stickers. Did you get that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Good night, Donna. Oh, what type of work?
Larry, I work in law enforcement.
I'm a realtor.
And Rachel's a realtor.
A fake
Wisconsin. That's what I thought. Alex was in
one.
Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. So you're not far. Good night, Scott.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys had fun. We'll do another live eventually. You know, like I said, with our schedules, with her being a realtor, my job, my days off rotate. So, like weekends, I think are the best times for lives. But I only get weekends off every 5 or 6 weeks, and then I roll through my weekends. So today I changed my schedule so we could do one because it's been a while. Robert, who does the cooking? We both do the cooking, and our kids cook. We taught all of our kids to cook. Like during COVID, when everything was shut down, it was tonight, it's your dinner. You make whatever you want. We'll get you the ingredients, and then you make the dinner. And then the next, it was the
when
next
Heath's
kid,
off
next
work,
kid, next
he will
kid.
cook if I tell him what we want done. Like he has specific things he likes to cook.
Yeah.
And so he does those. But for the majority, I will cook, or it's a free for all because half of the family's at some sporting event and half the family's home. So.
Yeah, a lot of times we're not home till 9:30.
And if I make a crock pot dinner, they will scream and cry. So, all right. Good night, everybody. Thank you. That's true.